Hello, everyone. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, Sunny. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I've had better days.
At least your
So,
internet's up.
yeah. So I've been having issues with my internet, and so I wasn't sure if my internet was going to be working properly. And so I'm glad that we're live and everything is streaming fine. And so, as people are coming in into the chat room, I would like to clear the energies and ring my meditation singing bowl before we begin. Okay. All right. So it's Friday.
And it's a going into a solar eclipse in Taurus with the new moon. So that's
Yes.
a lot more than just a new moon. That's more pressure in the atmosphere, a partial solar eclipse.
Huh. Oh, so is it also a partial solar eclipse?
Eclipse, and
Huh.
it's exact for the West Coast around 4:30 tomorrow. So it would be like 1:30 on the East Coast.
Okay.
So it's we're building into it. So we've got a lot going on with the new moon and partial solar eclipse because also what's going on is the moon is conjunct Uranus, and so that can make breakthroughs happen, things that are unexpected. It's a very creative energy. It's also going to be squaring Saturn, which is in Aquarius. Aquarius and Uranus. Uranus rules Aquarius, so that intensifies that Uranian rulerships, and I'll go into that a little more deeply. And then it's also sextiling Neptune in Pisces, which is that dreamy, fantasy and illusion and warm, fuzzy types of feelings. This coming week is all about good fortune and blessings, and it's going to be a week of being highly creative, a highly creative time. You may, with all of that Uranian sort of influence, you may have new perspectives and new ideas. Or so Uranus also rules patents and trademarks. So if you've been working on like a some kind of invention idea, you could see movement on that. We are about let's see, May 10th. So we're like 2 weeks before Mercury stations to go retrograde. So,
Mhm.
we're still in a very active time, especially with the partial solar eclipses. The eclipses trigger energy, um, depending on, where it is in your chart. You might feel it more intensely than other times. So, arts, finances, romance, all are under the Taurian sort of rulerships. When I was first studying astrology, my astrology teacher um, defined Taurus energy um, by a movie that's even before my time. So some of our older viewers may remember this, and younger viewers may want to look into it. It's from 1963. It was called Tom Jones, and it was set in the late 1800s in England. It won a lot of awards, and It was sort of a weird comedy, but it was about basically how a country boy becomes a playboy. And so there's a lot of sex, there's a lot of lavish eating and feasting. There's a lot of who's who's doing who, and like sort of a comedy of events. Um, if you know someone with heavy Taurus energy and you're in their home, it's usually very heavily carved furniture,
Mhm.
lots of art, um, lots of velvet. Taurus is a very unctuous kind of energy. It's the opposition of Scorpio. So it's that Taurus Scorpio energy, which can be very intense, very um,
So would you say that a compatible, dynamic is between a Scorpio Taurus?
they'll be naturally drawn to each other. Yes. Yes. Opposites attract.
Okay.
And definitely sort of this lineup of the new moon. And also, what's going on besides all of those aspects with the moon is Venus conjunct Jupiter. So
Mhm.
that's good fortune. I don't know how people feel about playing the lottery or taking risk, but Jupiter is all about lady luck and natural opportunities that come about. And with Venus, it would be opportunities for love and money. Um, I do like to dabble with the lottery, and I won $8 off of a lottery ticket.
Hey, that's good.
I'm on a roll, right? That paid for the last few that I've bought, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I bought,
And
bought
there I see the number 8 up there.
yeah, yeah,
So
lucky
funny.
number eight.
Uh-huh.
So also what's happening today is the planet Pluto is stationing to go retrograde.
Mhm.
This happens every spring. We have the outer planets all retrograde for summertime. Pluto is the first of them to go retrograde. Um, and tonight, before we get into the moon in Taurus, we have that Mercury retrograde squaring the moon in Aries. So Mercury stationing to go retrograde, making a square to the moon in Aries, could be compulsive, argumentative energy. So when a planet
Mhm.
stations to go retrograde, there's a shift in its vibration. And Moon in Aries is all about not thinking things through, being compulsive, um, uh, argumentative. Aries is ruled by Mars, so it could be, this energy is all about potentials for one night stands or not using your judgment well. That movie, Tom Jones, is sort of that, just not thinking things through and um, making poor judgments when it comes to money and romance.
Just to kinda interject, the very last reading that I did today was for Aquarius, and that's exactly what I had channeled.
Oh,
Yeah, the person that is connected to Aquarius, they finally, resolved their issues with third parties and maybe, family issues, and so, it appears that everything is looking smooth, right? But okay, this person, I feel like they're kind of down on their money and they're looking to, kind of finesse or finagle their way into maybe a potential, which is aqua, for maybe a little bit of love and also money. And after getting their fair share, I saw that they're gonna bounce. So I definitely do see that
that's very
going on.
Uranian. Uranus rules electricity. And let's see, some of the other things that fall under Uranus are uh, media, electronics.
Well, I can concur. This whole
You
week,
had a week
this
with your
whole
internet.
week my internet was spotty. Now, I don't know how many other people are having issues with their internet, but it's been like this. I called my family and they're on the East Coast. Their internet was spotty also. And so I'm like, wow, must be a trend. There must be something going on with the internet these days. But not only that, you were talking about trademarks earlier.
And
Well, I got into a little argument, like a little pissing match with this lady who
funny.
used my trademark name, which is Foxy Teas. Okay. And she's like, you got to look at the dates. As you can see, I posted that blog back in 2016, and you actually created your trademark in 2017. And I was like, well, let me revert back to my attorney, and I will get back to you. And she was like, please do. And I'm like, "Look, heifer,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it was 7:30 in the morning, and I
Yeah,
wasn't having it,
you
and,
hadn't had your tea yet, right?
I hadn't had my tea, and I wasn't even bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at that point, but I let it slide, I went back to sleep, and, yeah, I took me a nap.
That's always a good plan when crap like
Yeah, to
that
kind of,
happens.
like, not get angry, because I know myself. I do get mad, but, sometimes meditation, I'm not perfect.
None of us are. We can only try to do a little better. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why, but
Mhm.
when I was trying to think of other things that fall under the rulership of Uranus, wolves, as far
Okay.
as animals, um, water power, like dams and hydropower through water, or even seeing the power of water through flooding and storms. So, I had a dear friend that was an astrologer. She lived in Michigan, and we would meet at these different conferences, and all she did was weather forecasting, helio astrology. And
Mhm.
Uranus plays a very big role in any big weather patterns. So we might see, I know here, I think it was day before yesterday, just popped up out of nowhere, a really intense storm with hail, lightning, thunder. My rain gauge showed 3 inches of rain in a very short period of time. And then the sun came out and it was still raining. Very weird weather patterns we might notice. So,
Mhm.
yeah, we've got a lot going on. I want people to try to stay positive, because sometimes Uranus can break through things that are unexpected and feel, um, shaky, or feel, what's
I
going
was
on.
definitely feeling it this week.
When we want to keep our vibe high and our perspectives positive, it would be
Mhm.
easy to get very down and sort of dejected feeling with all the different crap going on in our world. So, you know how I like to try to bring a different perspective to things. And another thing I was sort of inspired by with this week's astrological outlook are my beautiful irises that
Mhm.
are blooming full blast in my yard right now.
They're
Huge.
gorgeous.
I'm a huge iris fan. I work very hard at them year to year. And so I looked up irises, and I'm going to share with you guys what some of this energy might mean. This is their season for blooming. They
Mhm.
inspire art. They have for centuries. You see lots of art. Uh,
Doesn't the iris represent the, female genitalia?
does it really? No, I didn't come across that.
I mean, if you look at it, I don't know.
I think of more of the orchids for that.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But yeah, I
Alright,
mean,
carry on,
I've
carry on.
never really looked close at female genitalia from this perspective. So who knows? You know, It's like that movie. This is the second time the movie has come up this week. It was called Fried Green Tomatoes.
Oh,
It was a
yeah.
great movie. And there was a
Mhm.
part where she goes to this class with women and she gets handed a mirror, and it's this class about women getting to know themselves.
Right.
So maybe there's a theme in our energy of that as well. It represents reaching spiritual enlightenment,
Mm.
nobility, chivalry, wisdom, peace, faith. We're in times when it's hard to have hope, and it's imperative that we have hope. And they
Mm.
represent having hope in faith, purity, and they remove toxins from the environment. I learned that there's actually one genus of iris that's yellow that is used in sewage treatment plants because of its
Hmm.
ability to remove toxins. So, and it's about the ability to transform. So, where we're in these very changeable times, a lot's uncertain, a lot, you know, unexpected things. When you talk about media and electronics, all of this stuff that's happened with Twitter. I'm not a tweeter. I'm not on it. I know very little about it, but it's been big in the headlines. And that's a very Uranian, that's evolution. That's a media electronic platform uh, revolutionizing, which is what Uranus does, and it brings big change. Um, and so then these are purple mostly, and purple is about respect and honor, peace and harmony, the seventh chakra, and subconscious or spiritual awareness. So,
Oh.
um, maybe when you see irises this coming spring, wherever you are, or even in art, if you were somewhere and saw a picture of an iris, if they're not um, you know, grown or native to where you live, I feel like it's a sign to us to feel inspired, to have hope, don't lose faith, and get a strong sense of your seventh chakra, which is your intuition, your ability to, you know, navigate the fray. Media and electricity can have a lot of static. So it's all the more important for us to find sort of our solid inward core of knowingness and
Mhm.
trusting that. And so this is a time for opportunities to. I've talked about this before, but exercise your psychic muscle and try to guess who is ringing the phone or um, you know guessing the winning lottery numbers, or just try to exercise your mind that way. Because,
And see how many tries
yeah,
statistically that you're kind of, like, on point.
yeah, yeah. Or,
Mm.
when you do that, it's weird how you can be at work or in some kind of social situation and you can actually know what someone's going to say before they say it. You,
Mhm.
you can intuit what is going to happen next. And so
So
every
would you say that the veil is thin, around this time in regards to
I think I would say that because also of an eclipse energy, and we have another eclipse coming up in the middle of May, a lunar eclipse. So we're in what could be called eclipse season, which is a
Mhm.
heightened energy and intensity to energy right now. And we're in the spring. So the sap is rising, we're coming out of the cave of winter. And uh, some of the the partial solar eclipse new moon is at 10 degrees of Taurus. So the 10 is also uh, a very spiritual number. And the Sabian symbol for 10 degrees Taurus is a Red Cross nurse. And
Oh.
I know I refer to this and I've never showed this, so I'm going to. Dr. Mark Edmund Jones was an astrologer, very well revered back in the day, and he wrote this book, The Sabian Symbols in Astrology.
Mhm.
And it's just a unique it was first in 1953, and it's just a unique perspective on his life, studying charts and readings for people and each degree of each sign. And so
Mhm.
when I say Sabian symbol, that's what I mean. So
Okay.
it's about humanity and service to humanity, a focus on self realization, and you know, enlistment. And another topic of conversation I've been around lately is about being engaged in your work. Like we all
Mhm.
get caught sort of just going through these empty motions. You know, I read this article about how a big part of um, corporate America or the working force is doing something called slowly quitting. People, I don't really know what the study was based on in terms of how they came to even study this, but um, more and more people are just doing what they have to for their job. Um, and it's been dubbed slowly quitting, and it's this idea of your a recognition in the workforce that we've thought that you work harder, you work for advancement, you work for raises, and there's something's changed in the last couple of decades with the workforce in that it really doesn't matter how hard you work. You're not going to be recognized and given the bonuses. It's all become this mentality of quicker, better, cheaper. Wanting one person to do three jobs, or how artificial intelligence has taken over people's jobs. This whole concept of remote working, and we sit in our house slippers or do the laundry while we're online remotely doing our job. So there's this whole sort of um, uh, I want to say dichotomy, or there's some element of our mentality in our society and how we view our work. I
Mhm.
believe a lot of it has to do with we're all wanting to be more creative. This whole sort of zombie mentality of punch a clock, collect a check. It's very unfulfilling. And
Mhm. Mhm.
somewhere in our subconscious, we're trying to figure out how to be more creative, how to do things in a more fulfilling way, how to find contentment through what we do. And so that is also a big part of this energy. And so when we get into this weekend, May 1st is a lot of things around the world. And
Mhm.
since we're talking about the workforce, it makes me think about it was May 1st in 1886. 350,000 workers in the United States basically went on strike. And
Mhm.
this was a peaceful demonstration to somewhat declare that a standard workday should be 8 hours. So um,
I think it should be less than that.
I know. And I think it is probably evolving to that. But in 1886 is when there was some sort of, and there was a lot of Uranus aspects. And I'm going to kind of give everyone some history about 1886 so that you can parallel it with where we are in our society right now. The
Mhm.
events are different, the energies very similar. Um, So that peaceful demonstration um, escalated into a bomb being set off in a town in Chicago. It was called Haymarket, I think. Yes. And it's dubbed in history as the Haymarket Affair. And this is from that workers' strike on May 1st, 1886. And what started out as peaceful, actually, some people died from police and rioting. So, when you look at different events in 1886, you will find historic hurricanes, earthquakes, and riots. So, around the globe, we can follow a lot of history making weather patterns. We've been seeing citizens all over the world in the streets um, protesting. So, we're in a
You
very,
know what? I don't mean to interject, but what I my intuition is kicking up, and I really feel like energy is everything. So energetically, when we're going through chaos, turmoil, when we want to come with peace, um,
yes,
the earth is actually reacting to our energy. And I really feel like it's actually causing some of the destruction, the natural
yes,
destruction that is actually happening.
yeah.
I definitely can sense that. It's actually, but I guess, with the stars and stuff, everything is
Well,
kind of like in alignment also. Do you
and it
think?
connects with quantum physics and the electromagnetic energy fields that are studied between space and the earth. And, our bodies are electrical. So it is all connected and we do
Right.
affect. And that's why, I'll sound like a broken record about keep positive, keep your hope, keep,
Put on that music.
yeah,
Sing
right.
your heart out.
Right, right. I've been seeing these strange videos. I don't know how they got into my field, but it's in the Asian culture where they do these aerobic classes for flattening your stomach. Have you seen these
Oh yeah,
classes?
it's like
Yeah.
or they do like
And I love the instructor. I mean, she is into it, man. And you know what?
You know
I'm
what? I think it works though because it's like a repetitious movement, and I think it's supposed to like burn like the fat. I don't know what it is. I don't. It's like
It's
some
probably
weird.
not good for arthritic backs.
I've seen those videos.
Well, anyway, I digress here. So moving on into 1886, we had the May Day back in uh, really like 1700s, I guess. Beltane was a Celtic festival, Scottish, Irish. And Beltane means fires. Wait a minute. Fire. Let's see. Fires of Bel. It's about fertility and spring rituals. It was a pagan festival, and I don't remember. Here I am on movies tonight. I don't remember the name of this movie, but it was one of those movies about uh, not Braveheart, but one of those historic Celtic type movies about clans and tribes and warring and territory, and Beltane was celebrated, and it was very much like when we were talking about with our last chat on Venus and Easter being, this big sexual orgy for spring and fertility. So we're still in that energy. And in the
Okay.
Celtic culture, it was called Beltane. And
Mhm.
there was also the similar theme there of it's when women wanted to go and find their husband. It was supposed
Mhm.
to be,
I think there was a ritual tied in with that. but I'm not pagan, and I don't
It
follow.
was
I think.
fires. They would set fires and dance and drum. Drumming was part of it. And
Mhm.
let's see, summer. Oh, so what it is technically is the halfway point between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. So this weekend, we are exactly halfway between spring equinox and summer solstice, which is hard to believe because where I am, it's cold and it has not felt like spring and warm weather at all.
Oh, it's cold over here, but I'm up north,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's like when you think about spring is halfway over, it really doesn't feel like it's begun.
You know what? I'm not complaining because if we can look back from last year, with the fires and like the
Yeah.
smoke in the air, and
Oh,
I
right.
mean, I would like the cool, crisp air over
Right.
smoky, you know, uh, air.
I guess here in the South, we're trying to get our vegetables in the ground, and
Mhm.
we've had a couple of frost warnings, and that kind of stunts the growth of a plant. You know,
Mhm.
last year that kind of happened, and things didn't produce all that well. So it's just frustrating when you're trying to get your garden cleaned off and start producing vegetables and
Right.
things. But it is what it is. It could be worse, and so let's see. There were some other things in 1886 that I found so weirdly correlating to here now. So we're talking about what you just talked about, how our energy affects the earthquakes and the hurricanes and the connection to the moon and the stars and the skies.
Mhm.
Well, 1886, here are some of the things that happened. Um, the Statue of Liberty was dedicated. That was a gift from France to the United States. It was the first train load of oranges from Los Angeles transcontinentally. So the train, the whole, we're talking about Mercury here and the activity of Mercury and transit. Getting on the move, um, getting crops from one end of the states to the other.
Mhm.
Another one, and this was so weird how it came up in modern time today, but I've been researching this, and 1886 is when Coca-Cola was the first soda drink.
Wow. Back in the 1800s?
1886.
Coca-Cola?
1886 is a really wild year when you start looking at everything that happened, and there's a lot of the same Saturn, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune. A lot of the same energies, not the same types of aspects, but those energies are all involved. New
Mhm.
inventions, new patents. But today, one of the fallout of Elon Musk buying Twitter was he put out evidently something about he was going to buy Coca Cola and put cocaine back in it. Now, it was a joke, but the first Coca Cola did have cocaine in it. So,
I saw another tweet. It was about now Elon Musk can save McDonald's ice
ice
cream
cream
machine.
machines.
He says, "I can't save the,
I
you know,
can't do miracles, but yeah.
yeah, I can't do miracles or something like that." It was funny because they purposely break those machines for people to come out and repair it. That's a part of the plan.
McDonald's is diabolical. I hope anyone that ever watches this chat tonight stop going to McDonald's. Just stop. Just stop.
Mhm.
They do so many bad things. It's terrible. We need to
Yeah,
get
but I
away.
haven't had a Happy Meals since my kids were, like, little. That's how long it's been since we've been to McDonald's.
Well, I know it's convenient and it's cheap, but it's bad ingredients, and
Mhm,
it's got a whole scam going like you were talking about. So
mhm. Oh,
anyway,
it's not just them. It's
Right.
all these big major corporations,
Chains.
like cell phone companies, of
Well,
major
interesting.
appliances, like washers and dryers, like
The Maytag man. Uh,
yeah.
so interesting you bring up corporations because in 1886, the Supreme Court ruled that corporations have the same rights as a living person. Now think about that.
Oh, so that's where it was like the United States was created as a something about waterborne citizen or something like that.
The maritime law.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember.
You know, that's just that's just it's just horrible. We've got a lot of work ahead of us to.
I
You know,
think a
the other
lot of
part about
history,
Uranus
a
is
lot.
is it is repeating, and were you going to say a lot about history is you look back to see what's going forward.
No, yeah, like I feel like there was a lot of rewriting of the history,
Oh,
and a lot of things have gotten lost, but for the benefit of the
corporations.
yeah, the corporations. And it's so funny you're talking about this because this week I finally solidified my business here in Washington, my media business.
Isn't that weird how stuff just works? It just, it's just
It's
very,
weird, and and then Key Bank contacted me, and I'm like, how do
yeah,
they know?
yeah. Oh,
So,
well, I got one for you. Um, I I took out one day. I guess it was over the weekend. I took out two pork chops from the freezer. Said these have
mhm.
been there too long. Got to do something with them. Baked a couple of pork chops. Now I don't have Alexa. Other than talking to my dogs, I have very little conversation in my home.
Mhm.
And the next day, my phone was feeding me um, best baked pork chop recipes. How do they do that?
Did you say pork chop? Did you? Because this
I
is the
mean,
thing.
I do talk to my dogs, so I could have
Yeah.
said, boys, we're having
Hey,
pork chop.
Mojo, you want some pork chop? Like,
I could have, but I mean, so my phone is listening and then
yeah,
sending crap.
it is
That's
because last night I was just sitting there listening to like the podcast of somebody I follow, and all of a sudden Google came on. It's like, "Is this what you mean?" And I'm like, "I didn't even talk to you. Like, why are you listening
I
onto
know.
my,
Oh
stuff
gosh.
that I'm watching on my cell phone?" And I had to exit. So it's definitely um open,
Yeah,
okay, to really see, there's something that's going on with our electronic devices
yeah,
where they're actually there's no security.
yeah.
If
It's
you really want to be secure, and that's why they have, like, those nest eggs and stuff where they give it to you for free. Man, that's a spying device. I would recommend, guys, if you can, just turn off your phone. Like,
yeah.
just turn it off, if you don't want, like,
At least
any
part of
kind
the
of
week anyway. At least when you can.
mhm.
So
I mean
1886 was kind of considered an era of modern industry. And
mhm.
so we're kind of remorphing that with the artificial intelligence
Intelligence.
and, the electric cars back and all the different weird things they've done to the food industry. And, you know, um,
I have to cut back on vegan, like, pre-made vegan foods because I noticed that I know that people say stuff about Beyond Meat, that name brand for vegans. Well, I ate it a few days ago and I was spacey. I was like
yeah, yeah.
I just felt like, I don't know, stoned or something like I was like, Wait a minute. Okay, I'm trying to think. Like a little bit cloudy.
Who knows what to eat anymore? Really? I mean, really? I mean, you know, it, anyway. So let me tell you what some other things that went on in 1886.
Hmm.
We, the Supreme Court. So a man named Carl Benz patented the first successful gasoline powered car. So that's
Hmm.
a patent. There was also a patent for a new way to process aluminum at an affordable way. So,
Hmm.
you know, cars getting us on the move, aluminum helping us build structures, the train moving, um, field hockey started in England. So that was a new sport that was born. Um, One of the other things that um, there is an author, Robert Louis Stevenson, and he that's when he published um, uh, the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Okay, so
Hmm.
as I was growing up, I loved all those old black and white Frankenstein and Dracula and Jekyll and Hyde. I loved all those old movies. So
Hmm.
that's why that stuck out to me. It's like, oh, that's when that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde were published. And Uranus energy is very much Jekyll and Hyde. You know, the planet Uranus itself, if you studied it, runs hot and cold. So it has those major shifts, and you add electricity to that. We had hail the other day in certain areas, you know, and then sunshine. So that's all very the energies that we're in. So I don't know really how I got onto this lady. Her name was Wilhelmina Fleming. She was a Scottish astronomer. Um, in like around that time in 1886, she did work in America for a well-known astronomer named what was his name? His name was shoot. Oh yeah, Pickering. And so I thought this was interesting. In Boston at Harvard, they had a group of women and they called them the Harvard computers. This was in like 1886 to 1890, that area. It was a group of women who worked with Edward Pickering, and he was an astronomer, and he, you know, was part of developing different types of telescopes and taking pictures of stars and planets. But what um, his claim to fame was, he actually published the first like catalog of over 10,000 stars. So in that time, we were making a lot of progress to actually like map the galaxies, right? And seeing what's out there and naming it. And she was part of helping to develop like a common system of designating constellations and stars and nebulas and, you know, reaching out to space. It's very Uranian. What are we doing now? I mean, you've got Elon Musk talking about by 2050, we're going to be transporting colonies of people to live on Mars. And what did he say? There was a tweet about he was going to gather up all of the Dominion voting machines and launch them into space. Yeah.
I
That
missed that one.
if he couldn't buy, it wasn't Coke. If he couldn't buy, oh, it was a joke about he was going to try to buy Biden, but China already bought him, so he's going to buy the Dominion voting machine company and launch all the voting machines into space. That was, let's see. So that was a lot of activity in 1886 with again what you're talking about, our quantum physics, our relationship as human beings to a planet, and how we respond to other planets, which is what, you know,
And let me interject. Let's say that we follow the ideals of Elon Musk and we're colonizing on Mars. Like, are we going to be more Mars, type? Because that Mars energy is all about um, like
masculine.
yeah, like, like grunts. Like, are we gonna be like? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, I'm
well,
like,
all the men are going over there, right? And all of the females are gonna go over to Venus.
they're going to have Beltane. Yeah. Well, in Tin Cat world,
Okay.
there's a belief that there are already colonies on Mars.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know, who knows? Um, let's see. We also
I
have,
wonder how they're handling it.
I know. Well,
The
I tell you,
testosterone.
I hate to say this, but um, it comes to your mind for a reason. So let's put it out there.
Mhm.
There's a lot of talk about other species interacting with us here on Earth and
Mhm.
being lizard like. And when you say, what would we be like on Mars? I think of being more lizard like. I mean, because it's a tougher environment and we would need tougher
Yeah,
skin.
you know what? You have because lizards they live in a desert, right?
Yeah,
And Mars has a very you know,
dry, desert, hot
mhm.
atmosphere.
But it's so weird because Mars is further away from the sun, so like how do they have like that arid atmosphere, right? I don't know the whole scientific
I don't
uh
either. But there's also a theory that there are other suns that we don't acknowledge, that
mm,
our sun is not the only sun. When you think about it, and maybe that'll be more of what unfolds with this energy. So if we're kind of paralleling what may have happened in 1886 and those years around the late 1880s, um, a lot of that would be more discoveries in space. And if we have more technology for higher power telescopes and launching rockets and space stations, then I believe we will have more discoveries about our galaxies and surrounding environments for other
well, I
environments.
think that's where that SpaceX comes through.
Yeah,
And also there is a technology that you could possibly participate in for internet. And these are for those who live in like remote areas.
right.
And yeah, so I don't know if this is like a, trial type system, to see like, okay, how's your connection up in the mountains, like.
Well, and the new phones, like Tesla has a new type of cell phone. Um, I would really like to find his birth data, and we should study his chart because
I think so. Like, you know what? I think like, just for fun, we can do celebrities, right?
yeah,
And just take a deep dive into like, their natal chart and
yeah, and you
kind
can
of
watch.
decipher.
You can see the ones like on trial and what's going on in their chart, and or
Mhm.
who's who's like really busting out with great fame, or who's in scandal and all messed up. Um, I'm trying to think. Let's
We
see.
we need to write a list. We need
Yeah, I have a lot of charts for celebrities. I do not have his, but I'll send you the list I have, and you can see what your viewers would maybe like out of
Okay, yeah, I'll do a
do have,
poll. Yeah,
and
I'll do a
we
poll
can
for
work
that.
on getting like more modern ones. Um, Also coming up this week is Cinco de Mayo, which is, you know, what I'm not saying about Uranus is it's about freedom. We want
Mhm.
our freedom, and Cinco de Mayo is about a country and their independence and celebrating it, So another symbology here. And during that same time, we have Mercury in Gemini making a positive aspect to Venus in Aries. So that's an air fire combination there, which really is very creative, gets a lot moving. If you have felt stagnant or bored, this is not a boring energy at all. That's a lot
No.
on and a lot of twos, things going on in twos. Gemini, you may have to figure out between two jobs or two people or two homes or Gemini is all about duality. It could be the duality within ourselves, a lot of reflection on, whatever you're outwardly manifesting and what that might be trying to get us to learn or think about within ourselves.
Yeah,
Um,
I picked up a lot of those energies this week in the zodiac readings.
yeah, I would think because we're getting ready to get into, we're not too far away from the sun moving into Gemini and having
Mhm.
that. And so before the sun moves into Gemini, we'll have its ruling planet, Mercury, stationing retrograde. So I wrote that down. Where did I? Okay, so for Mercury retrograde, it at 4 degrees Gemini on May 10th. It goes direct on June 3rd, and it's completely out of the shadow by June 19th. So that's our Mercury retrograde. We've got Pluto retrograde stationing today. Um, and so those were kind of the highlights of the history and the combination between what's going on here and now. And so much of it is about an evolution in society and people wanting their freedom, um, wanting to sort of break the chains that bind, by corporations, right? This whole trend of um, wanting to feel fulfilled with our work. Taurus is all about, and Venus is all about art and creativity and wanting things beautiful around you. And um, Taurus is eating well, eating gourmet and extravagantly. And, you know, um, there's you know that the god Bacchus, I think he's the god of wine. That's a very Taurian kind of energy, wanting fine wine and fine food. And, um, you know, that Bacchus is always surrounded with, you know,
Luxury.
yes, very luxurious. And maybe that's another extension of our last talk about self-care and taking time for yourself to do something or do nothing. If you're constantly go 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 go, maybe you should take an afternoon just to be a slug or a sloth or
Mhm.
you know, go soak your feet somewhere or, um, whatever it means to you that you deny yourself. A lot of people will, not go do something to take care of themselves because of the money or they have to do for everybody else. And these are the energies about you're no good for other people if you don't take care of yourself. So,
Mhm.
um, I think we all battle that the whole time thing, like, do I have time to go get a pedicure? Do I have time to go visit a friend an hour away and do nothing, but chit chat, and one of the things that came to my mind too earlier when I was seeing all this news about Elon Musk and Twitter, and me, I'm not a huge technology person at all. I mean,
Mhm.
if I could get away with living in a cave in a mountain somewhere, I would be fine. Struggle with all of this technology and having to engage and I don't know. I feel like our society, we were happier when we were more down to earth and slower moving and more connected to each other and not connected to computers and artificial intelligence precognitively, telling us what they think we need and
I think the whole technology thing is that once we had a taste of doing something better, and more efficient,
yeah,
and we just feel like we have to do more, or
yeah,
what's the next best thing, and um constantly evolving, having that sense of creativity. So creativity is actually evolving into more technological ways.
like music,
Yeah.
like more modern musicians use all these electronics. Where
Mhm.
like the old guys back, when you see like the 20s and 30s used
Bang
spoons
on, like,
and pans,
buckets.
yeah, you know. Um, um, Another part of this energy, and it's more of I like this story so well, even though it's on this lunations lionmountainhealing.com. I still would like to share it in case people don't go to my website, but it to me represents a lot of what we're talking about, and the common denominator, the bottom line of the story is to value friendships. you know
Mm.
the electronics and the artificial, I don't know the technical name, you probably do, but there's something. I had a friend that used to do this. She would create her own little cities in a computer, and she
Oh,
was
SimCity. Mhm.
okay. So, you know, that was real to her. And she would leave her
It
job.
You can get lost into it because you're actually creating your world through, electronical, like a program.
Just like this whole movement towards holograms and
Speaking
virtual
of
reality.
holograms, like the whole thing with Xfinity this week and seeing
Oh,
them all over the place, I kid you not, I really felt like I was in a hologram and these people are fake and I'm interacting with fake people, and it was like, the one of that Netflix, shows, I think it's called Black Mirror or something like that, where, you're just like in this like a happy land and everything is so great, and there's like fake people around me and there's like, "Oh, no, it's not that," and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
so wasn't
My internet is down. Like
no, right.
like, what are you not, like, getting?
So wasn't kind of the beginning of that a movie a long time ago called Pleasantville?
Exactly, okay, yeah, it was very similar to Pleasantville. It was strange.
We're
Even
in
the
strange
guy I talked to did not seem like he was real, and even the guy that I spoke to on the phone, which was the same guy I spoke to
I couldn't believe
consecutively, it was the same guy, and he was like, "That's not good, that's not good."
it.
I'm
you,
like, "What the heck?
you just want to smack him.
What do you
Right.
mean that's not good? My internet's not working, asshole." Like,
I swear.
he's like, I was like, well, I could, let me, do this diagnostic. I was like, okay. I was like, well, how many diagnostic, can you do? I said, can you really patch me up to your level 2? And at that point, I was being very condescending because I know that in the IT field, okay, like people have levels. Okay. And I was asking for a level 2.
Yeah,
So like, I was
escalate.
like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sandy, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, all right.
Oh God.
But the day 2, he did help me temporarily.
Yeah.
My upload and download speeds were clocked, and I was happy at, I don't know, 30 minutes. And then it went down to like 5 megabits per second. I was like, what the fuck is this? And at that point, I gave up. I gave up, and instead of getting angry and working, which my type, I'm a worker, right? So I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I relaxed. I took some me time. That
Good.
was when I was like, okay, I don't have nothing much else to do but to do whatever universe is guiding me to do, is just take a break. So, yeah.
There you go. Self-care.
Self-care.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's important. It's just as important as being functional and productive.
Yeah, but that whole scenario a few days ago, it was so fake. I kid you not. It felt like a hologram. And I don't know if it was that fake vegan meat I ate, and that kind of like was the onset of me being
Oh
delusional.
my
I
God.
was like, where
It's
am I? What did I
it's
eat?
I,
Like,
I
am I
know.
like, why is everything not working? Like,
It's weird. We're in these really strange shifts of energy. And
yeah, and
that's
there's
why it would be really easy to get dejected and depressed. And we have to
mhm.
work extra hard to keep our perspectives open, be open to new perspectives, be open to, like keep your sense of humor about things going all weird.
And that was
I'm not,
another thing. Let's say that you're having a conversation with an AI, right? And what about personality traits?
oh,
Like, could you have a conversation with an AI, and let's say you're being comical, and how are they going to react? They're like, like, I mean, what is the response, And it's like, that does not compute. And I'm like,
right.
okay, well,
I
thanks,
got
thanks,
stuck
robot,
in the way they have these websites set up like to check a charge card account or you know they want to put you on a live chat and you just want a human being, right?
Exactly.
And they'll
And
give
this
you
this is the
options.
thing. Let me say this much,
Yes,
okay? So
yes.
with my internet, okay, after talking to that weird guy at night, this was after hours, okay? I called Comcast in the daytime. All I got was an automated voice. I could not get a human. But how come they pushed me off to some foreign dude, in the middle of the night, and it's the same guy? I was like, wow. I was like, here we are. Like, hey, it's me again. I'm back. You
Well,
didn't fix my internet. Like,
this comes to mind about scams and internet too. I got an email on an email address that is really old. I always use it for like junk mail stuff. It's not
mhm,
one I even
like
check
an
every day.
active.
Yeah. And it was Microsoft, no, yeah, Microsoft 360 stating they were going to debit my account $439.99 to renew my subscription. And I hadn't done anything. I hadn't ordered that. I hadn't talked to anybody about doing that.
Hmm.
So, and it said call within 48 hours if you didn't want the subscription renewed. And I'm racking my brain thinking, did I ever give anybody like that my account information? I was all freaked out. So I called my bank and I said, I just need to like have my account noted. This is not an authorized thing, and I don't know what it is, but I did not do this. And the lady said, the same thing happened to me. It's a scam. And what
Mhm.
they do is they fish out there and they want you to call and they'll say, oh, we accidentally debited $4,390.
Now, I've been following a particular channel where it's a scam, and basically the hacker will like geolocate their location, and it's usually in a hotel room, and they have like this whole operation, and there's shifts of people. So these are legit people. They
Oh,
actually have a legitimate daytime job working at some kind of tech company, but at nighttime they rent out this hotel
really?
room, and they have like a call center, and they
We,
operate in that location, and then basically you go through the motions, and then they'll say, okay, well, we will go ahead and refund you X, Y, and Z, right?
give
But
us your account information.
yeah, and so they're gonna go tell you to go to their website and coach you to say, okay, well, you have to do this, and send them money, and just to see that, like the transactions went through, and then they're gonna say, okay, just do this and this and this, and it's a total scam. But what these people didn't realize was that the hacker who knew that what was going on went into their system and wiped their drive clean.
Not funny. You're
I
laughing.
mean, it wasn't funny when they when they were like, contact. Well, you were the victim of like some list,
Gosh.
and they were trying to, do that to you so that they could get money out of you. I went, a lot of times when, and these are for the older generations who don't know much. It's like, well, why did I get this spam mail? Blah blah blah. They target old people.
They do.
Okay.
I have a friend's sister that Microsoft called her and said, you have a virus, we can fix it. And she paid them, and it ended up being a scam. But she is, in her 70s, and she got all freaked out when she got called and said, your computer has a
Let
virus.
me let me show you something. Okay, while you're talking, I got a letter. Hold on.
Oh, I was going to look here in the chat. I'm sorry. Don't be haunted, honey. Don't be haunted.
Is this fake? United States versus the Western Union Company. Now, you're really good with documents,
Oh,
right?
so class action suit, is that what
Ye-
that is? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it says in there, if
The
you
claim number and the PIN number. And they gave me the court docket, which I guess I could look up, right? And this is in Rhode Island.
so doesn't it say that um if you unless you want to opt out of the class action, you don't have to do anything, and if they ever settle, they'll send you some money.
I think so.
I supposedly have one with Federal Express. I used to have a Federal Express account and used them a lot, and they were overcharging people, and I'm waiting for my money. That was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they somehow know my MCTNs and the amounts. And I'm like, okay. I mean, they're hefty amounts. And I'm like, wow. I do send a lot of money overseas,
Yeah,
but I there are only a few like transactions that I probably contested because the guy was a jerk, whoever I was doing media work for. That's why I don't like doing media work anymore. Well, some media work.
well, and you know, Jupiter Venus, this Jupiter Venus conjunction is all about lawsuits and legal documentation. And so we probably will be hearing and seeing more about.
Is that why we're seeing like a sprinkling of all this and that, like with Elon Musk and Johnny Depp and
Well, here's what I've been piecing together. It's again one of those things that puts me, on the crap list for a lot of people. But I'm going to put my tin hat on here. But I've watched it, and when I point this out to you guys, you're gonna realize this has been going on for probably 20 years. And I've said this before. When I was little growing up, commercials on TV were peanut butter, copper tone suntan lotion, chewing gum, light bulbs, uh,
Hostess Twinkies.
Sears and and now it's nothing but big pharma. It's this drug for this thing, and if you have, this reaction, okay. So what I really feel very strongly about, and I do feel it is going to come out. This is part of justice and disclosure and things coming out. The truth is it's a scam because big pharma puts out a drug that people go on for a couple of years, and then they start dying and having these horrible reactions to it, and then the law firm starts a class action suit, and it's money, money, money. It's get the money for the drug and then get the money to pay out loss. It's all a big circle jerk. And
Mhm.
so,
Mhm.
and I'm convinced a lot of these vaccines, I don't make predictions very often, but within 2 years, you're going to be watching TV. And if you took the da 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 jab and you had adverse reactions, call Joe and Joe law firm for their class actions lawsuit. I mean, it's just been this cycle in our society and media for like 20 years. And I want to say the government project, it's called Mockingbird. I think that's the one about media and how it manipulates, uh,
Mhm.
tell lie a vision, right?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
just not at all what we think. And so I see a lot in the chat, a lot of agony here over pain and physical relationships not working out, and a lot of pain. I feel your pain, and I send you light and love and hope that you find your way through the pain, because you will. Just be strong. And this month's blog is about the endearment of true friendship, right? Because
Mhm.
um, any healthy romantic relationship as a partner or companion has got to have a friendship as its foundation.
Right.
If you reflect over your relationships in your life that haven't gone well, you probably would be able to see that you really weren't friends first. You maybe went too fast and didn't really know the person, right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
um, I know it gets very exciting when you meet someone and you feel chemistry, and especially the older you get, it's like, oh gosh, maybe finally I've met someone or something. And so, but you also don't want to repeat the same cycles of jumping before you look. Or so the archetype that relates to this lunation that we're talking about tonight of Taurus is the story of Persephone and Ceres. Um, a little reminder about Persephone is she was kidnapped by Hades, the god of the underworld. He tricked her and stole her away to go down to his realm, and keep her and imprison her. Another weird parallel of what they're finding underground right now and what they're bringing out from underground, humans that have been trapped and trafficked. And so these archetypes have like real life manifestations that apply to us now. And they're
Mhm.
shocking and appalling and horrible, but the reality. And we got all this, take a big wake up call and get on our armor to fight the good fight. And so I can't say it right. Dem,
Demeter.
yeah, Demeter, the mother of Persephone, was so pissed off that her daughter was taken underground
Mm.
that she made the whole world barren. No one could grow anything. There wasn't any kind of life or sustenance. And so Zeus and Hades strike a deal with Demeter to allow Persephone to come above ground for half the year, which is what we know as spring and summer, and then
Mhm.
go back to the underworld for fall and winter. So this is believed to be, a mythology of how our seasons came to be, right? So with the story of Persephone and Ceros was a bull, and he was chastised in society. He was considered just sort of, you know, um, no one paid attention to him. He, was grumpy, and so um, Persephone, when she had come up from spring for the spring, and he was considered like this beast, that nobody wanted to be around. But she saw something in him. She, was inquired, what is your name? She took interest in him. And the part of the lesson here is that we are all guilty of making superficial judgments about people and not taking the time to, make eye contact and ask someone how are they doing, or telling them that, you know, that color looks nice on them. I mean, my my wish for this lunation would be all of us spend the next couple of weeks making a concerted effort to smile at a stranger, to say hello, to compliment somebody. Just the smallest compliment does the world of good for somebody's energy. It's surprising. It takes you off guard. When somebody says, gosh, I like that, or whatever, it's just, we don't do that anymore. We've gotten so hooked into our electronics, we've lost eye contact and caring about someone's pain. And, that sucks what that person did to you. And I'm sorry, I can't make it, all better, but empathy and compassion for another human being, that's part of this energy, is caring about humanity. What is your part to make your little part of your world better for another person? It gets you out
Mhm.
of depression to be more concerned about somebody else than ourselves. So anyway, so this really took the beast back. Like, he was like, nobody has ever asked me my name. He was like, huh? And so with that sparked a lifelong friendship, where every spring when she would come up, you know, um, very much associated to roses, where
It
they,
reminds me of that, Disney, Beauty and the Beast.
there's a
Is
similar
that
theme. Yeah.
is that where it came from?
Where, well, Disney is like, we should do a night of Disney. Really, Walt Disney. That would be
Mm.
interesting. That would be an interesting
There's
chart.
a lot of historical reference in those Disney
Right.
type, well, at least the older ones, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. That's why I think the mythology, whether it's a true story or not, the archetype represented is relevant to our lives.
Mm.
The lessons that they teach through these stories, no matter how fantastical they are, right? there's something that connects in our subconscious. There's something we can learn from these old myths and stories that applies to our lives here and now. That's my belief anyway. And so anyway, what that taught people in the town was um, was not to dismiss someone because they were different or you didn't understand them. And the town became to recognize how important that friendship was. You know, it kept fields plowed for the crops because he was able to um, to stomp the earth and break up the earth so things could be planted. And he took care of things while she was in the underworld. So um, the whole myth was that once people recognized how profound that friendship was, it was not a romance, it was a friendship, and it was sincere, that is at the point Zeus immortalized Taurus in the constellation of this bull. And so when we talk about relationships and heartbreak, I think we have to really have a come to Jesus moment with ourselves and take ownership of, you know, well, did you get to know that person before you started into all of this, you know, relationship part? You know, did you know what, like, I know in my past, um, I've had a couple of different men over the years, like, portray themselves as single and they're not, you know, like, and women too. I don't want to be like specific to just men. Women do it too. I had a high school friend out of high school get married, and you know, she'd go and have affairs, and she had the nicest husband. Used to make me so mad that she would, but some people have, and she would talk about this, they just have this almost almost just death wish on them. Like they just will risk a good thing in their life. It was like an
I
adrenaline
think it's
trip.
being selfish. Like, like they already have, they achieved, what a love relationship could ever achieve.
Mhm.
Now it's time to fuck it up, right? Like she wants
Well,
to.
her thing was, and I want to, because I don't want to get into bashing men and that men are the only people that cheat. I've known plenty of,
No, it's a lot of women who are scandalous. I've
yes.
heard them outside, and I'm like, oh, really?
Well, this girl had a disabled son, a son born without a ventricle in his heart. He
Oh,
never was going to live beyond the age of 7. He's in his
mm.
30s now.
Oh,
So,
he's a miracle. Yeah.
and she had another son who was completely fine, who his mission in life has been to develop this computer that allows his brother to communicate, because there was
Oh,
all kinds of brain damage and all kinds of physical, he disabled for life, right?
right.
So this girl and this wonderful guy who, worked hard, they had a nice home, they had these 2 boys, one that they will always be responsible for.
Mhm.
She liked just going, she worked somewhere where she had access to meeting um, younger
Men.
younger guys. It always had to be young guys. And she would tell me, she would call me, she's like, oh, yeah, I'm at this hotel or whatever. And I'd be like, I don't want to use her name. I'd be like, I can't believe you. It really, it splintered our friendship where we had gone to high school together and probably knew each other for years after high school. And then that kind of stuff started. And it was like, I can't, I can't, I can't support this. You're risking everything for an afternoon of lust, and Taurus is very lustful. you So
Mhm.
this energy is about being discerning. Okay.
Right.
First off, be really honest with yourself about what do you looking for in a relationship? If you
Mhm.
just want to, you know, screw around and not have any commitment, be honest about that. If you
Right.
are looking for a commitment and a partner who will be loyal and share the same value systems, then you know when you meet someone whether they're available for that or interested in the same thing you are. So I just feel like a lot of people waste too much energy pursuing something that doesn't meet
She
their
doesn't want
age.
to
Yeah.
me, it just seems like she doesn't want to have the happy home and a happy family.
Yeah, like willing to risk it is an adrenal. It's a thrill.
I
Part
get
of the
that.
thrill is that it's bad, and it's forbidden.
But
And
what if, she wasn't safe all the time? What if her time was up and she got caught? And
yeah,
then what? Would she have remorse for her
you know,
karmic action?
you know, I always felt like her husband probably knew,
Mhm.
and but
He just let it go.
he just had such a loyalty to his boys'
So it's like different, what do you wanna call it? Different
values,
yeah, point of views, on I guess
relationship. Well, they were
yeah.
married. I mean, it was actually a marriage. And
Mhm.
so, um, when I see in the chat a lot of hurt feelings and um, what people do, and it's against what your values might be.
Yeah, you have to really listen to yourself
Yeah,
because you're actually putting yourself in that position to hurt because of those reasons, but you could exclude yourself from that hurt by knowing the truth about the situation and also addressing what is it that you really want.
right,
Do you want to keep hurting yourself because of somebody who doesn't show up? Or do you want someone who to show up in the right way that you want them to show up? But also, is that what you really want? Because in the instance with, your friend, what is it does she want? Does she want a happy home and a family, or does she want a hookup?
both.
And yeah, she wants both, right?
Yeah,
So, like, the, dynamics that she has with her husband, he's actually enabling or allowing it because he's not saying anything about it, but that's his prerogative.
right,
He may just wanna keep it that way because he doesn't want to, uh, disband the family, because he possibly wants to hold on to the whole idea of keeping the family together, so he just keeps his mouth shut.
right,
And that's the issue with a lot of relationships these days is that, what is important to you? Is
right.
it holding on to a family where there's no love in the situation? Is it for keeping up with appearances? Because in this case, it really is where you know that one partner, okay, is very genuine about the children, but is the other person who is in the relationship, is she genuine about being a mother? No.
Sometimes I've gotten the feeling from her that of I had a disabled child. I deserve to be able to go have some fun. I have this commitment my whole life. I
Oh,
deserve
look, honey, I have a disabled child. Like,
almost like a
look,
like
she's
a
been a hooker at
like
this
an
point.
entitlement
Like,
of some sort.
well,
I
let me
do
break it
this.
down to your friend. I would love to have a husband who wants to have a family.
Yeah,
I would love to have something that she has, and she wants to fuck it up by fucking some young dude. Like, no, bitch, get the hell out of here. Like, where are your priorities?
right.
And I get that, right? It's like, oh, well, I never had fun. Well, have fun with your husband. Go hire a nanny. Or maybe you, right? Because you're not too far from her, right? And
Oh,
let
I
them go
know.
out and
Yes,
have
I've
a
talked
good
to her. Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I was, in fact, I'll tell you, it was like a long time ago because I was going through my divorce when I kind of got back in touch with her, and she wanted
Mm.
to fix me up with her cousin. Okay.
Oh,
And
so she's a fixer.
yeah. And so I got to talking to this guy on the phone. He traveled a lot and was going to come through the area. and he was just not not what I was looking for. It was just all about just, I guess, kind of a one night stand fun, and that was
Kind of
it.
like
I mean, I
his
was coming out
cousin.
of, yeah, right. Well, and so I actually left the date where we were at a restaurant, and
Oh my
he was
God.
just very arrogant and very flippant. And I got actually like a queasiness in my stomach. And
Mhm.
um, I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. This is not for me, And we had spent a couple of months talking on the phone as he traveled. Well, so I leave. He calls her, his cousin. I guess I was, a bad person at that point. She goes and sleeps with him.
She what?
Yeah.
But
She called
y'all
me
are
and told me
from the
about it.
South, right?
Like, it's like, and I
Y'all
was
are into incest.
thinking, messed up, man. I know. So, yeah. So, you know, it's one of those things that um, I think I've run into her a couple of times since then, but I just I don't need friends like that. I don't
That
want to
is
participate
disgusting.
anybody's drama or anybody's soap opera. I mean, you have to really work hard to not have a life that's all, you know, um, spread out and I have a really simple life. I have really simple needs and desires. I like it that way. It might be boring to a lot of people, but I've had like real life trauma with family and death and all of that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
at
you
this
don't
point
want.
in my life,
Yeah.
I just want to be relaxed and easy. And when somebody comes along, or any kind of old friend or whatever, and they'll call and they're talking about their life like it's some kind of daytime show. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Mhm.
I can listen, but they never want to hear me out because I'll tell them some hard truths,
Mhm,
you
and they'll
know,
just keep on and on and on about
so
what
then
they've
they
been
don't call
doing.
much anymore because, well, they know they're going to get a reality check with me because I'm
Mhm.
trying very hard to just live real and try to take ownership for things I've done wrong, or just take ownership for my life, and at this point it's more about, gosh, I made some really screwed up financial decisions to not be in a better situation right now. I mean, I look at other people my age who are ready to retire, and I don't think I'll ever be able to
Well,
retire.
the thing about it is that, you had some hardships because didn't you had to go take care of your mama and
Everybody. Yeah.
yeah, you had it hard, so don't compare yourself to other people, but I know
Yeah.
karmically it's like, well, how could they get all of this? And, they're financially stable and all that, and they have kids and blah blah blah, and you're like,
It's a mental thing. You have to just, that's what I'm talking about, taking ownership. I
"Mm,
mean, we all have made decisions along in our life that took our life in different
directions."
directions, right?
Mm,
And so you just take ownership for whatever it is that you decided, and you have to believe in yourself that when you made those decisions, it was the right thing for you. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I mean, there was a reason why you chose to go a different way at the time, and didn't do something else.
I'll tell
Mhm.
you a fun story. That
Okay.
it is one of the stories that it's the only decision that I ever think about. I wonder if I had da 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 da. And it's a funny story. And
I was
it's
about to say that guy at Greece, the island of
no,
Kos.
no, no. I didn't meet anyone there. I was only looking. But no,
Okay.
let's see. I had started into college, and I was working at a dance studio at night. And I had dated a guy through high school years, and I don't know, like 3 or 4 years, and broke up. So it was like my first, big relationship and breakup. And
Mhm.
I took a weekend to the beach by myself, and I met a guy who was from New Jersey. And you're going to love this because this would have been back in like the early 80s. This would have been in
Okay.
the early 80s. He was an organic sweet potato farmer from New
Oh.
Jersey,
Oh.
originally from Austria. Okay.
Oh, that sounds exotic. I
Oh,
like
I know,
that.
I know, I know. I know. I know.
Sweet
And
potato.
so anyway, he missed his train back to New Jersey, and he rode back to my town to get another train. And
Uh-huh.
I had moved. I was living at home. My mother loved him. My mother,
Oh, your mama knew him? Like, what?
but no, she just met him, and he was different. I mean, he was different, and he wore his pants different. It was real weird. And my mother she was just like, I just think he's cute, you know. And
Mhm.
so now this whole time he was supposed to be single, right? He was
Supposed to be
single.
single.
He didn't have anybody. And so he goes on a train back to New Jersey to his farm. I'm, engaged in a new chapter in my life, studying to, start a different career than I had been in. And he'd send me little cassette tapes of love songs. And
Oh.
I was really, I see, I'd just broken up with somebody that really broke my heart. And it's like, a man is not going to make me change my direction, right? I need to get this education for myself. I need to be able to have a good job. And, this guy who I thought, I mean, we dated over 3 years. I thought we would be married. I thought, you know what I mean? It's like that.
The whole
Just
projection.
right.
Yeah.
It was like, I need to help myself right now.
Mhm.
And so I come out of the dance studio after work one night, and he had this old beat up van. And it was full of sweet potatoes, organic sweet potatoes in the early 80s. Nobody cared about organics back then. And so he's standing there at the dance studio, and I'm like, what are you doing here? And he goes, I can't even do his accent. But my mother he had come to the house, and my mother told him how to get to me at the dance studio.
Uh-huh.
So we're sitting in this van, and he's trying to tell me that, I need to come away with him. I need to, come to New Jersey, and he loved me, and we were going to be together. And I'm sitting there I'm going, his name was August. His name was Augie. Now it's kind of coming back over.
Augie, Augustine,
Um,
Augie,
um,
Augusto,
um, Augustine.
Augustine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. And so I'm sitting there. I remember doing this on my hands, like, I just started school. I'm not
Mhm.
dropping out of school. I love teaching dance. It was like, I'm not giving this up
You're
to come
not about that
to
farm
New
life.
Jersey for an organic sweet potato farm. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know, and and he acted so like deflated, like I was just this horrible person for not wanting to drop
Oh, no.
everything. And, you know, so
So his
that's how it
perception
ended.
was not in alignment with your perception at the time. You
Ex-
had
yeah.
different goals. You weren't thinking about farm life at the time. He wasn't thinking about like your career, he thought that you would just, be romantic and
Uh,
follow him back to Jersey on his potato farm.
so
But
I
you know
got,
what? That potato
it gets better.
Okay, go ahead.
I get in my car and I go home. He's pissed off. He goes back to New Jersey, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it was a month later. I'm getting ready to go to school that morning, and the phone rings. And this woman goes, I'm you are going to go to hell. You are dating my husband. And I don't want to say his full name. And and I'm like kind of sleepy and I'm hearing this weird accent. And he never said anything about a wife. And I just listened to her and she's telling me how I'm on the road to hell. I'm on the road to hell. And I hadn't seen the guy. I hadn't been in correspondence with him.
So you couldn't help that he has fallen in love with you,
It
and
wasn't,
she.
how do you do that when you're married, right? How do you do that when you're married? So I let her rant, and all I said was, lady, I'm not seeing your husband. Don't call me again. Click,
Mhm.
done. And that was it. And that was like probably, okay, I went to college in 1980. Yeah, it was probably 1980. And every once in a while, and I think it's because my mom liked him. You know what I mean? I think it was the reaction my mother had. Every once in a while, I'll think, I wonder what would have happened if I had gone off with him like that. Well, number one, I didn't know there was a wife. So
Mhm.
it's a good thing I didn't, because if some
Right.
crazy woman up in New Jersey probably would have taken a shotgun to me that I knew nothing
I know, right? They're rough.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
You come here.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
You're on the road to hell.
Throwing
Yeah.
cockroaches at you. This is my organic sweet potato.
I know. Isn't that crazy though? And we're having a good laugh about it now. But
I know.
that's the only relationship I've ever had where, it's like, but it couldn't have been. He was married. But
But you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. And it's the only
Mhm.
time that's ever happened. It's the only time anybody's ever declared any kind of love and said, come away with me. I've never had that happen. So that might also be like, what if I had taken that different trajectory in my life?
I think that with timelines, every timeline, we have a decision and there's alternative timelines. So I'm pretty sure that there is a timeline of you taking that course with Potato Man.
I think it would
And
have been a disaster. When I'm honest about it, is like,
well,
I
I think that you still could have learned a karmic lesson with him.
yeah,
It's still inevitable. All roads lead back to whatever the outcome is in
yeah.
your current situation. So I don't think that it would be too far off, but yeah,
He is the only man that ever, sent me love songs or
that was
profess
really
any kind of
sweet.
love. Yeah. I mean, my ex-husband never did. I mean, the
What
little,
was
little romantic things that this some guy from New Jersey did.
and he was married.
Yeah, and then I got really ticked off about the whole thing. And, I,
I think that that's a whole situation even in today's time, right? There's a lot of married couples who are not happy in their marriages and they're seeking people outside of their marriage. The ones that they truly do love. And in this instance, Potato Man with you. Like,
yeah,
I think that he generally did have feelings for you. And he possibly
totally
didn't feel the
did.
love connection with the wife because she's screaming at him. There must have been a disconnect. That's why he came away to the oceans, and I'm not
Yes,
exactly sure which beach
yes,
you're at. Was
yes,
that Virginia Beach or was
yes, yes.
Oh,
Listen, I told you it was a funny story. If nothing else, that's the thing with time. You can laugh at some of the terrible, situations you've had, and That's why I always try to remind people, like, keep your sense of humor. We're all
Uh-huh.
really very funny, you know. And what does this say? Isn't that strange that a married man will go out of the way, remember the same thing as a young woman? It is strange. It's
Mhm.
strange how different married people have different value systems about marriage. I mean, there are open marriages where people do step out of the marriage and the marriage stays together. And that's, you know, that's a thing for people. Uh,
Mhm. Also, there's polygamy, and they're just open about it, you know?
right. So I guess we just have to, you know, I always say, you know, find the person on the same page that, you know,
Mhm.
you can be, because really, you know, I was thinking about this as I was thinking about Persephone and Ceres and their friendship. It was very endearing. It was very genuine. They
Right.
genuinely liked and cared for one another. And
Mhm.
really, you know, I don't know about anybody else in this chat or whatever, but I mean, I would think a companion would need to be someone that would stick by you, you know, in the rough spots. You know, if you had a health scare, you know, someone that wouldn't be scared off by that, you know, sort of like shoulder to shoulder, you know, the team that gets
I
through
think
whatever.
that's a really valid statement. That's a true testimony of what true love is, or true friendship, right?
You,
You know,
stick
because
it
through
out.
thick and thin, through, you know, good times and bad, you know, you can't just stick around for all the good times. What about the bad times? Or, you know, when someone is going through a hard, you know, time in their life, you know, yeah, it brings down your energy, but with love, you could raise that vibration if it's genuine, you
And
know?
that's why you have to wonder if it's just not some magical energy that just puts people together. Like you just got to have contentment in yourself and not be zeroed in on it takes somebody else to fill you up. Like you've got to be content and whole in your vibration and meet the like vibration who wants the same thing at the same time. And there's no married partners involved.
Mhm, mhm. I think it takes an evolved soul to get to that point where you don't have to be attached to a person in a relationship.
And the
And
other part of that is not being cynical or jaded by past hurts. You know,
right, you have to truly be healed. You know,
I
that's why it takes a really wise person to get to that point, and a lot of experience.
well, a little off of the subject of relationship, and I learned something today, and that's maybe a lesson for me and to share is maybe we all need to spend more time listening. You know, maybe there's
Mhm.
just a time to be quiet and listen to what people are saying around you. But I overheard my boss on the phone tell somebody that she was jaded. Now, it had nothing to do with relationships. It was a work situation where she had gotten burnt in some deal and it made her jaded, da da
To
da.
not
But
work on that situation.
yeah, it's like the universe, you know, reminder notice on my brain, you know, don't be jaded. I've had
Mhm.
really sucky work situations, one after the other, you know, and it's like it's every day it's like you got to buck up and like just try to, you know, like smile through it, like keep your humor that people are really very funny and we get too serious and too dialed in on how we think things should be. We don't know anything. And there's a lot of opportunities and options out there, Uranus and creativity. And, you know, whether or not you want to take off and relocate for another job or stay in your, you know, in your nice velvety Taurus, you know,
Robe.
yes, fuzzy slippers and decadent food, right? I mean,
With the chocolates and a cigar.
oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Hey, I was looking at, um, I think these are not allowed, but I was going to ask because
Okay.
this would be the Taurus deck.
Yeah.
Are these allowed on your? I mean, can you do
Yeah.
these on channels?
Okay, so basically, what you can say is that viewer discretion is advised, and if you're offended by nudity, then please click off.
Do you
There
want
you
to do
go.
that, or this is also very Taurian? The gold, the
Okay,
gold.
I have both. I have the Gildan tarot, and I also have the sexual tarot. I also have the Casanova.
Oh well, that's very that movie Tom Jones. He was a
I
Casanova.
Yeah. Do you want to pull cards? And
Yes.
I'll pull
So
from Casanova, and you
which
can
one's
pull from your deck over there. Yeah,
this
tarot of
is
the
very Taurian. It's a little
Yeah, I mean,
messy.
I got that one too. I know what's in there.
Okay. I didn't know if you could show it online or not.
Oh yeah, you can. It's just uh I may get some sort of censorship, but that's okay. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Who cares? My
And
internet's been down all week.
it is a Taurus new moon solar eclipse. So there's a lot of sex involved with Taurus.
Yeah, so please protect yourself, and if you're doing like a one night stand, okay, there's consequences. So
Yeah.
don't
Be
think
honest
too
with
deep.
yourself.
Yeah, do you really want this, or are you in it for a hot minute?
Right. No judgment. It's whatever you feel is
Yeah,
right
I
for
mean, to each his own. Like, nobody says that you had to be a nun, which I have in this deck.
yourself.
Let's see here.
Okay, good. So someone's saying they've seen on other channels exotic erotic decks. This deck is definitely erotic.
Yeah,
Taurus
this
is
one
very
is too.
erotic. Now I'm not familiar with that one. So we're gonna
Uh,
do sign. People seem to like sign by sign.
okay, so you tell me the order, and I'll uh
The first would be Aries.
Aries. Hmm. There we go.
This is the fun part of the show, right? Where we just lighten up and all the chat here about being hurt or feeling betrayed or discouraged or all those negative feelings. Just we're going to lighten up with some fun cards and get new perspectives on situations and just turn it over, turn it around.
Yeah, I have here for Aries. It is actually the King of Wands.
And this is the 10 of Pentacles.
Oh, very interesting. You know, with this particular depiction, I really feel like, so we could play it off, right? There is a masculine energy sitting in his chair, and he's being a voyeur, right? And he has his stick looking at feminine on that chaise, and she's exposed, and she's like, "Come and get me." Sorry.
You're good at this. I'm going to let you do.
Let me hold my stick back. Like, I can't contain myself. Sorry. Aries, I know you're hot, but damn, like, and they're like holding back. You're like, they don't want to expose themselves, but they like it all at the same time. But what I'm really feeling is that this particular Aries,
This is so Taurian. There's like fruit at her thigh.
yeah, he wants to eat it. Like, what
Fruit.
the hell?
There's
Like,
food involved.
he's eating that peach too.
That's so Taurus. That's so Taurus. Oh my God.
But if you want to look at this from like, kind of like a swing situation, right? Where we're talking about polygamy.
Oh,
There's one person that is watching the other two doing
oh
it. Like,
right. That's even weirder.
that dude is servicing
It is
the
with
the
the
lady.
swingers too. We heard about that.
So, be careful
There's
with
this
this new moon, Aries, because
there's
I would
something about
say like sit back and watch. Okay, try not to do anything unless you want.
so Monday, Venus goes into Aries.
That
So
sounds fitting. And
yeah,
Venus goes
that
into
is.
Aries. Like,
Yeah.
next.
Touch would be Taurus. Next would be Taurus.
All right,
It
Taurus.
feels good to laugh, right? So we'll
Oh
just,
yeah.
yeah, raise the energy. There you go. Come and get me.
So with Taurus, I have here 5 of Swords, and we can see I want to say Mozart, right? But Casanova is kissing the
Mozart
uh
was a weird dude. Okay,
yeah,
what is
shoulder
this?
of the lady. Not feeling very.
Ten of
Hmm.
Swords.
10 of Swords.
Yeah, not feeling good.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like, with Taurus, maybe your lover is with somebody else.
A lot of pressure. A lot of,
Y-
lot of.
This is what I'm feeling. Now, I've been channeling this with my general collective readings, and I really feel like for Taurus, Taurus actually has a side lover, okay? And they're with like a wife at
Oh,
one
see,
point.
he's with her and she's sitting over here by herself, feeling all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of that going on, and as the Casanova is over here with this lady, he's not feeling it. So even though that he's with her, she feels what we say, jaded almost. To like she does not feel good because, and then she has to pleasure herself. So yeah.
Oh my God. She has the mirror on the bed. I, I can't say it. I can't say it. You go watch Fried Green Tomatoes. It'll all be.
Okay. All
The other
right.
part of that movie that came up this week was then we got Gemini.
Oh, Gemini's next. Okay.
There was a part where it was like the war cry to Wanda. She's like trying to beat these young people into a parking space, and there was something that came up in my office this week where Tawanda. It was like a power cry, it was like a victory yell or something. So that
Mhm.
movie has come up twice this week. Okay,
So with Gemini, I see here 9 of Swords, but it's actually in reverse. So that's actually a good thing. Maybe Gemini, you're trying to get out of a situation of being with a particular person.
Knight of Cups.
Yeah. So maybe, you love somebody and you're trying to get out of stressing over maybe being with 2 different people. Maybe Gemini has made a decision to just be with one.
This is a very dominating kind of feeling, you know, like someone being dominated.
Mhm. I really feel like Gemini was into pleasure at one point, but you're no longer thinking about the past, about pleasure. And
And this girl, she kind of looks like maybe she's distracted thinking of somebody else.
that
And he's
sucks.
looking down his nose with his red beard, like, I own you.
Like, yeah. Very interesting. Gemini, you need to check who you are with. Like, are you with the right one? Because I really feel like for Gemini, there is the right person, but you're not with the right one right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, with this new moon, think about it, okay? Use your discernment.
Discernment. And then we have Cancer.
Okay. Cancer. Hmm. Wow, I see it is judgment.
Oh my God, this is one of those really racy cards. The Tower.
Oh, okay.
With the guy with the hatchet behind the guy. Well,
So
maybe
2
somebody's getting caught with somebody's husband or wife.
I know, right? And, over here, this person is, like, really looking at this person. It's very
He's got his
interesting.
clothes on, and she's, like, doing a stripper dance for him.
Mhm. He's really looking or making I don't know, does he like it? Is it too tight or is it too loose? Like, what?
This card cracks me up with the guy with the,
Coming to kill you. Get off my wife.
and
And,
she looks like she's enjoying herself. I don't think she's been kidnapped or anything and needs to be saved.
no, I think the other dude's angry. You know, it's kinda ironic that this is 2 major arcanas, and so Cancer is, you
Big
know, I really
chapter or something.
yeah, it's like maybe there's something like, do you want to what is it that you want?
Or also a lot of divine protection. You know, two major arcanas would infer spirit guides and guardian angels close by.
This is what I'm feeling. I really feel like Cancer, you prefer somebody more than your current person that you're tied down to with, you know? That's what I'm feeling, and you really would rather just be with, you know, the person that you're watching from a distance or actually doing over here, right, with your
Or
situation.
this guy takes his shirt off and comes with a hatchet after the lover. This reminds me, this guy in this card reminds me of that mean Indian in Last of the Mohicans. Remember the Magua, you know, and he took the girl, and they didn't have a scene like this, but just his head, he was bald like that, and really,
Mhm.
and then Nathaniel, the hero of the movie, he did come after Magua with a hatchet. This gives me a very Last of the Mohicans feel.
It's been a while since I watched that movie.
Great
This
movie.
I think the scene with the waterfall was filmed in North Carolina.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I have the soundtrack. I love the music there of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's got
Is
some,
it yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of the Gale is like a lot of bagpipes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, Scottish, but
Mhm.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. A lot of, yeah. That's an old book, an old classic book made into.
Mhm.
Oh, and Daniel Day-Lewis that starred in that, his 65th birthday is today.
Oh, well,
He's
happy
the actor
birthday.
that played Abraham Lincoln to that movie called Lincoln.
Uh-huh.
And his reputation is that he like lives whatever character he's going to play for months ahead, and he never breaks character the whole time he's filming a movie.
Oh, okay.
Part of
I
that
don't
was filmed here, and the rumor was you could see him in costume at a coffee shop, you know, like Abraham Lincoln.
I have people up in my corner who dress goth that
Uh,
walk around in top hats
is it
and the
like
whole, like
Beetlejuice?
yeah, the whole, like, I don't know, blacked out thing, and the head guy would walk, and there's the 2 people that are right behind him, and they're just walking, it looks like a movie, and I'm like, "Wow,
Do you
this is
think
in
he
Walmart."
had like blood in vials around their neck?
I don't know, it was very, steampunkish, yeah, that's what I
Oh
was
yeah,
getting, yeah. Anyway, okay, so who is after
Leo
Cancer?
is next.
Yeah, Leo. Okay, Leo. Bing.
Ooh,
Oh, well, I have 2 of wands.
I have Queen of Pentacles.
Okay.
She,
Well,
yeah.
with my 2 of wands, I really see that Casanova's got this particular one bent over with candles, and, I wonder, what is he gonna do with that rod? You know, like, choices and decisions.
Or hot wax. right?
Yeah, like, do you wanna get burned or do you wanna get pummeled?
Or both.
Yeah. And, yeah, he's got her tied up, and she's liking it. And she's like, "I'll do whatever." Okay.
Oh, at first when I saw this queen, I thought she was by herself, and she's got this gentleman massaging her feet.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Little
very,
connection there.
Leo. What in the world? Maybe you have a choice, like, maybe you have options. Like, you know, I really feel like there could be someone stable that is in Leo's vicinity, but Leo, you're not seeing this? You think that could be a possibility?
The Queen of Pentacles is about money and work and, probably, I don't know. This position of the men seems like, I don't know, um,
They'll do anything for the
romance
queen.
is not, work is number one on the list, and romance is somewhere down the list.
So, in regards to Casanova over here who's willing to give it. So are you saying Leo is just wanting to work? Like
I don't know though. She's got her skirt up. She looks
I
like she
think
might be.
Leo, like, if she's like, doing this and she's like, I
Hear
can
me
handle
roar.
my own needs.
Yeah, this is the lion. Hear me roar.
Yeah, you could rub my
Try to
feet.
make me roar. How about that? That would be, yeah, that'd be good. And we have
Okay.
Virgo. Hear
All
me
right,
roar.
Virgo.
What was that song? I am woman. Hear me roar.
Yeah.
All right, Virgo.
Oh,
The
Virgo. Wow, we
projections.
have here 5 of wands. You're on this bridge. Like,
I have the High Priestess.
Virgo, like what the heck?
What, the Five of Wands and the High
Mhm.
Priestess.
Really thinking about what happened. Like,
Manifesting something.
I don't know, there's a duel here on this bridge.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah, there's Virgo, are you conflicted or have you been fighting? Um, that's what I'm seeing. Like maybe Virgo, you need to really
Listen to your intuition.
yeah, look at what is going on. And this is in front of a church of all places. Hmm.
Oh, maybe it's a fallout over religion.
It could be like, maybe your belief systems, maybe whatever you thought before in the past, um, isn't vibing with you these days.
So
Hmm.
this card has kitty cats and fruit. These cards have a lot of fruit in them. So she's
Mhm.
got kitty cats around her.
I
So
mean,
that's
maybe
that.
that's Leo. Like,
No, I was actually thinking about, don't cats represent uh
I know that there's
secrets,
9 lives, intuition, feminine energy.
like a prowess, like they they stalk their prey, and mysterious. So maybe she is, this definitely is related to intuition, using
Mhm.
intuition. um
I think about a situation where Virgo is having to really make a decision on,
Five of
like where they feel
wands.
conflicted because I really feel like they're fighting against someone
Well,
or
the
something.
change, like five is the change number.
There could be some sort of changes going on. I really feel like it's, your thoughts, your belief systems, people, like you're not in congruence with the people that are around you. And it's time for a change. And made this change because Virgos is not like, are Virgos okay with change or are they
Oh,
fixed?
yeah, they're more, well, it's Earth, so they're slower to change. They tend,
Yeah.
it's a mutable sign, so they tend to follow more than anything.
Okay. So maybe they haven't finished what they've started, so to speak. Like maybe they're going one
Well,
direction.
that's the thing about always wanting perfection, and the lesson being there's no such thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, what can I say? I'm a Virgo
There
rising.
you are. Libra is
All
next.
right. Libra. Very interesting. I have your library.
Nine of Wands.
Now, are you good with the major arcana? This is a 21. Is that the world?
Uh,
21, is that world? I
I
think
think
that's the
so.
world.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's got the globe there. So completion and a nine. A nine is completion.
Mhm. Wow. So Libra, maybe you're having a heart to heart, like an ending of a cycle. Like, is it a reconciliation or is it an ending of a situation?
They seem to be talking about it here.
Yeah. And I really feel like Libra has been doing their legwork. They've been doing their research on this, and they went into the archives of all places to pull up the facts.
What else is in this card? Birds. Oh, there's another man in the background here.
uh,
Uh-huh.
so maybe that's the farmer, the potato man.
It's organic veggie farmer.
Organic sweet potato man was looking at you and you were with your bow. Like, no, not my honey bun.
Wish
Like,
I could say. I would like to say his full name, but I shouldn't. I don't want to do that. He had a really long
Augustine
Austrian name.
potato.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet
That's
Augustine.
how exciting, my memoirs would be, the organic veggie farmer from New Jersey that I didn't run off with, who
I
was
think that's
married, and I didn't
interesting.
know.
I think that's a really interesting story.
At least it's a good laugh, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So now
So
we have
after
Scorpio.
Libra, Scorpio. Let's see her. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, Scorpio should be connecting the dots here under a Taurus moon. Oh
Well, I
my
see
God,
her.
I got the same card again, the Tower.
Oh, I have the hangman.
That's another two major arcanum. So
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
Hangman and the Tower. That means no more hanging around, right?
I don't know because do you see this? Casanova's got blankets. I think he knows where he's going and he's gonna get laid and he's gonna go pound that pee. That could be the dark side of Scorpio, but I really feel like they might be thinking about this. There's two blankets here. Like, I don't know.
Hanged Man is having the faith that, you know what? So, Tower, total change
Mhm.
and disruption. The universe is 2 by 4, and the Hanged Man is having the faith that you can be hanging upside down with no food or water, and spirit will take
Everything's
care of you, and you'll be cut down from the tree to live another day, to love another day.
kind of like Casanova over here.
Yeah. The story of the hangman has, I forget his name, the character, like, it starts with an N, and he tied himself to a tree to prove that his faith was so deep that he could hang from a tree, but spirit would not let him die. And so, after days and days of delirium without any food or water, he awoke from one of his deliriums to find some fruit and water just out of his reach. And he reached and reached and reached and reached and was able to get himself free. And the whole myth being to have enough faith that um, spiritually you'll always have what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the
That was kind of interesting because it kind of reminded me of something that Sadhguru talked about. It was about taking slumber under a tree and manifestation. And after taking a slumber under the tree, the person was thirsty, and the person got up and someone offered them a drink. And then, they're like, well, I'm hungry. And then lo and behold, somebody gave
yeah,
them something to eat. And,
a
it's like,
sincere, yeah,
yeah, it's
a
like if you
sincere
speak it,
thought. Yeah,
it will come.
as
So,
long
yeah.
as it's sincere from your heart.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. All right, Scorpio. Be sincere.
Yeah, Sagittarius is next.
Okay. All right.
Oh, who's saying STD?
No more lies. Oh, I have
Oh,
here. I think this is the Knight of Pentacles.
and this is the Hanged Man.
Interesting, but that hangman looks kind of
More
interesting.
fun. This Hanged Man is a
Stopping to smell
woman.
the roses over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, which is very Taurian.
And I see that this one isn't getting up on their pony. I mean, he's looking at his pentacle. He ain't going nowhere. Um, so I really feel like maybe there was something that you were thinking about investing into and you're stopping to take a moment to reflect. Is this what you really want? Is that what you're getting also?
Yeah,
Saying?
just again, the Hanged Man always makes me think about having faith.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
medical
Sag
would be
might
about
be.
money too, like work and money, having faith that you will
You're
have what
gonna.
you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, with this new moon, it's about creativity and manifestation, right? Manifesting creative works to procure, I guess, abundance, so to speak. And so, possibly now's the time to take a moment and reflect, and and really trust
So
that things will go
this
well.
Hanged Man, do you think the man on the ground is the one bringing the water and food?
I think so. I
And
think he's thinking
she's got
about what's he
vines
gonna
around
spend with his money to give to his
her.
woman.
She has, looks like bindings around her wrists.
Yeah, she's tied up.
She's tied herself up.
You think so? Does it look like it?
Well, although when you look at it really close, his hand is next to her wrists. Maybe he bound her up.
She looks like she's enjoying it. She's like, "Ah,
This might be some of that dark side kind of stuff.
I can already go there, but I'm keeping it PG."
I know, I know, I know. All right, so then it's Capricorn.
Okay. Kepi. Sorry. Four of Pentacles.
Oh, and this is the Death card.
Ooh, interesting. Now,
Working too
this is
hard.
yeah, look at this. We have here Casanova counting his coins, and there's a mistress sitting here. It's like, how much money do you have, Casanova? And he's good where he's at, right? But I really feel like there has to be some sort of change. Like there's more that you could get. Why stop? You can go for more. That's what I'm getting from this one.
There's what's that thing called with the sand and the time? What's that thing?
Um.
The hourglass.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a time limit to the, I don't know, there's a time limit to the job or um,
I guess, if there's a project that you have, don't procrastinate. Go ahead and go through it,
oh,
okay?
so behind her, behind the death. So in the traditional death card, you see these people behind this
Yeah,
figure.
they look like
So they're pretty happy.
hmm,
She looks like a skeleton almost.
she's already past dead.
So, you know, another traditional thing about the death card is it reminds us to get down to the bone, to our authentic self. So, and the Reaper is there.
Mhm.
So
I think it's
that was
just a matter of time.
that thing. What was that? Um,
I would say Capricorn needs to go out and have some fun. Like, stop saving your money, splurge, spend a little bit, just
what was that? I had it down here. Something about transformation.
you're talking about irises. That was, one of the initial things that you're talking
Ability
about.
to transform. Yes,
Um,
that's the death card. So maybe her frivolous kind of thing in the background here is and the time
is up.
hourglass. Yeah, yeah, something frivolous is up and getting down to the bone of the matter. She's pretty scary looking.
I would say, I mean, she looks like she's beyond gone. She needs some of my skincare.
Yes,
Just saying. All right.
that would be Aquarius next.
Okay. So, Aqua, let's see. You are up. Hmm. Ace of Swords in reverse. Hmm.
Oh, this is sweet. This is the sun.
Very interesting. So, maybe you're not clear about communicating that you're happy
Not
or
not trusting your instinct.
yeah, that could be. You know what?
Oh,
I just go
would you,
ahead.
I got that, learning to receive love. When you go through one disastrous relationship after another, you get so you don't know how to receive this. You don't know
Mhm.
how to love or receive good things. You're used to a bunch of crap. And so maybe this is saying Capricorn, oh no, we're in Aquarius, right?
Yeah, Aquarius.
And all this activity with Uranus in the home of Aquarius, be open to receive good things. Don't have the same thought patterns as in the past. We've got
Mhm.
Saturn in Aquarius right now, and we have, let's see, we have something getting ready to move into Aquarius here in the next few days. So that's change, evolution, evolving from the bad feelings into the sun, the good
Mhm.
feelings.
I would also say that if you're not clear, go out and get some sunshine. Go out and
Oh,
embrace yourself outdoors and
there's
get
more
the
fruit.
answer.
They're sitting on fruit. Fruit is everywhere.
There has been a bunch of pineapples lately in the supermarket, so that's a good thing.
These cards are so Taurian. That's such a Taurian scene right there.
Uh huh.
Yeah. All right. So finally, we have Pisces.
All right, Pisces. All right, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, yeah, I
So,
have here Queen of Cups.
oh, I have the King of Swords.
Very interesting. Wow.
Pisces.
Ooh, but it looks like third party situation over there.
Does.
So
But this looks like
Pisces.
a older figure, like a mother, or see, she's fully clothed and looking much older.
Mm-hmm. What I'm getting with this is that Pisces, you know that you have a lot of love. You're open for love, and I see that. But I feel like on your side there is a parental figure, could be mother, who is against the relationship. It could be because of an age difference. Maybe you guys come from like two different, situations, backgrounds, or something like that. And you're having to hide yourself about how you feel. Um, that's what I'm getting because of that other person.
His expression looks like skeptical, like, oh, his okay, this is an interesting thing. So
Hmm.
one of his feet has a boot on it, and one of
Hmm.
his feet are barefoot up under her breast,
I see. He's fondling her with his foot.
which is Pisces, rules feet.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It is funny. That is funny. I'm surprised there's not like a chalice of wine somewhere.
Well,
Maybe.
I think that that's where this comes in. It's compensating for the missing chalice. I mean, she has the cup right in front of her, and she could possibly fill
Oh,
it
right,
herself. You
right.
know, but I think she's, Pisces. Maybe you're ready for love, but there's a distraction. There's a third party that is getting in the way of your relationship. But you're having to really, really
Or
use your intuition.
when you look at it, instead of it being a maternal figure in the window there, this man looks kind of old. So, like, maybe they are husband and wife, and he has him a young girl.
Hmm. I would believe it because in the Pisces that I've been channeling, somebody somewhere has a third party situation,
Yeah.
and you know, I forget what it was like this week. Yeah, I think it was into open relationships, as a matter of fact. I don't know if it was Pisces. I can't remember, but it was earlier on this week. Interesting.
Too much fun.
I know.
So we have a Scorpio full moon with a lunar eclipse on May 15th, and that is opposing the North Node. So we have this solar eclipse in Taurus and the new moon going into a Scorpio full moon and lunar eclipse opposing North Node. I know I just repeated what I just said, but
So how does that translate?
my
So,
gosh, that is deep, serious stuff there. That is um, no more. That really does cut away the anything superficial.
mhm.
Opposition to the North Node is, you will stretch to do better. The universe isn't going to let you. That's the Tower card. The universe
Mhm.
is not going to let us sit stagnant but so long, and we either out
Right.
of our own volition move forward and make progress, or the universe will come along with the 2x4 and make us move along our path. And an
Mhm.
opposition to a full moon in Scorpio opposite the North Node.
I believe it because right now, it's about using discernment. There could be sexual relations going on. It may seem like it was the right thing to do at the right time, but really maybe one person didn't really think things through or thinking about the
Oh,
intent or
that's so weird. In your chat, someone said STD, and a Scorpio full moon opposite North Node would be STDs. They can be chronic conditions. they can mean actual separations.
Hmm. I
So
believe it
that's
because
it's you know, we're in this Taurian energy that has a lot of Uranian kind of influence. So it's breakthroughs, it's opportunities, it's new perspectives. And as we get towards, this is like May 15th, 16th, that brings in a more serious tone. You know, Scorpio has that edge. It will get to the truth regardless. And the truth is benign. There is no good or bad. It's just get to the truth.
mhm,
So, an opposition to the North Node can be a separation from a partner.
mhm,
It can be a health problem.
mhm,
Scorpio involved, that's the sexual organs.
mhm.
So, that's pretty intense at 25 degrees. So, it's the late degrees of Scorpio, which as a sign gets to the later degrees, it even gets more intense. So,
So it might be like maybe closing chapters, so to speak, on certain relationships or ideals and
certainly not a remainder of the spring being stagnant. I mean, it's certainly people and lives on the move and changes. And um, I just keep thinking about that first transcontinental train across country with a load of oranges back in the day, 1886. This is so interesting to me how we're paralleling a time, um, what is that, 140 years ago,
mhm,
something like that. So the people and may be different, but the lessons we're here to address are similar. You know,
mhm,
innovation, renovation, um, standing up for your rights, um, getting down to the truth, getting down to the bone. Yeah, the ability to transform. That would be it in a nutshell. The ability to transform and keeping our sense of humor about it.
yeah, we have to stay positive.
Absolutely. It only makes it worse to be down, down, down.
Mhm,
And no more lies. You did say that. You've been very tuned in and psychic to what we've been talking about here tonight.
mhm. Yeah, she has a personal, situation with her person that she's been tied to for a while, and I think you did her natal chart.
You know,
Um,
I can't pronounce this name. Vera.
Varakana,
Yeah.
Varakana.
It's so refreshing. You're saying the thing that so many of us feel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's see what he says. I've been in hermit mode for longer than I care to admit. Now I wanted to date. Now the issue is finding a woman who isn't jabbed or vaxxed. I was like, "Do you have a vax card?" Okay, no thanks. Like, that's how you do it. Sorry.
Well, I didn't think we were going to go there.
There should be like a little electronic, like, AI device where you scan, do a body scan, like do 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 do. I'm like, oh
Getting
yeah.
there. Yeah, they're getting there, I'm sure. You know, uh, this Jupiter Venus connection and legal things and, um, wanting to stand up for your constitutional rights. Um, I went on a website today. It's a theater. Um, there's a musical that was going to come through this area that I was thinking about seeing. And I go to the website, which takes state funds. So tax dollars go to help this creative arts place function.
Mhm.
And in bold letters, it was if you have to have your proof of vaccination card, or if you're not vaccinated, you have to provide a negative test
Mhm.
within 24 hours of the show, and a home test does not qualify. I will no more give that place my money than the man in the moon, and I
I
want to
said
write
the
some
same
letters.
thing.
I want to write some letters. I want to write to the governor, the attorney general, representatives, senators. These are my tax dollars. Don't fund a place that encroaches on my private medical history. I, I'm livid about this. It's like forget going to the show. I want to bring this website down. And I don't want anybody to buy tickets from that thing. I mean, how incredibly absurd is that?
That is the very reason why, I decided not to go to a particular event, that is local to me, and it was for that same reason. They want, proof of, like, a PCR test,
That's
and it
awful.
has to be it cannot be like a home test, it has to be, with a medical facility or something like that. And I'm like, "No."
I
Like,
can't
I don't wanna see you that much, like, it's not that bad.
I can't believe um I cannot believe we are still here. I cannot believe we are still talking about
Oh,
this.
yeah, I know. I mean, like, we just lifted our mandate to wear masks, and I guess there is a slight increase of, people who are still sick with the stuff going around, and I'm like,
That is a 99.9% recovery rate.
it's like the flu at this point. Yeah. And
Yeah,
honestly, before this all came out, I think I had it because I live near King County, which is the hub of where it kind of infiltrated, where it touched
okay.
ground and stuff. And I remember I was making jokes about it at the time, but I got very, very sick. I remember that time. I was very congested in my nostrils. I couldn't breathe.
Mhm.
So I had to take what was it?
See?
No, not like that. It was, that deep nasal deep like Sudafed, okay,
Okay.
Sudafedrin. I was on that and, I was out for the count. I couldn't move, my body was aching, and I went to the doctor and I said, "I'm hot." And it was cold outside. I threw off and was like, "No, your temperature's fine." And that was really weird because they were like, "Well, if you have a high fever and blah, blah, blah,
That was
that was like a symptom." Now, when I went into the doctors at that time before all this stuff came out, um, my body temp was fine. There's like, "Well, you have the flu, but there's nothing we can do about it, so you just have to kind of, you know, brace it." Now, it took about 10 to 15 days for me to recover. I had it bad, like, I remember this is, like, I wanna say 3 years ago? Like, I don't remember, like,
I I 2020. It was 2020. So
for
2.
me, it was 2019. Yeah, at the end of 2019, I
Okay.
got sick. It was in November. It was right before Christmas, and I was still doing, like, readings, like, "I'm sick, but, I'm not fire," but I didn't know I was having, like, now I don't know if I had COVID, um, but it was like a bad flu. Like,
Yeah.
I hadn't been sick in a long time. Yeah.
Well, I know that there are attorneys across the country who are diving into this whole constitutional rights question.
Mhm.
And we all just have to deluge our representatives and local governments with this nonsense that, we cannot be passive about this. I really think it's going to be grassroots movements that continue to overturn the ridiculous mandates, and they finally stopped wearing masks on airplanes. And,
Mhm.
um, with all the information that's coming out about the bad stuff in the vax, it just appalls me that anybody would ask for proof of anything or that it's even, I just cannot believe it. I guess I'm, I'm just baffled by it. I'm baffled by it.
I mean, it costs money to make the test.
And that's another thing about the PCR test. The guy who invented it has admitted it was never created for the purpose that they're using it for. And you want to put a little tin hat on. Some people have said that there is a virus on the end of that tip, that when they're shoving it up in your sinus, they're giving you something. And then
Mhm.
all these people that had to like get tested every week because they didn't get the shot, like they're starting to have these weird sinus nodes and uh, gross and crap in their sinuses from the repetitive test. Um, it's wrong. It's medical tyranny, and it's wrong. And we all need to be writing your local representatives. You know, maybe that had to happen to me to get my fire up. That's one of my things this weekend. I was sitting here going, I was thinking, now, who do I write? And then I decided, no, I'm writing everybody. You know, you know, I am going to do a letter and I'm going to send it to everybody because this is nonsense
Mhm.
and it's illegal. That's the thing. It's illegal.
I don't think that I mean, because I guess since I'm a hermit and I don't go out, I've never really encountered the need to take a test, with the exception of wanting to go to, like, an event, you know? But that's something, like, I don't know.
Well, and a friend of mine and I were talking earlier about, wouldn't you love to see the report on how much money whoever made on plexiglass and face masks,
Mhm.
and the PCR tests, you know,
China?
you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I mean, really, a piece of plexiglass is going to keep you from getting sick. Who came up with that idea?
Mhm.
I tell you,
Usually plastic companies who can make, that
I,
is
I've always restrained from making predictions, but I do predict we're going to see class action suits on this on our TV. Uh, It's so sad. My neighbor, who's a pretty frail veteran, and I mean, he feels like we do. You'll talk
Mhm.
to him, he's like, I didn't think he'd gotten vaccinated. I mean, the way he talked, he's like, hey, I wasn't going to get vaccinated. And the other day, I, I guess another neighbor said something about, he was so sick he couldn't get out to walk his dog or whatever. He had had his fourth booster at the VA. Like, four? Really? Four? You got to have four? And it really surprised me because I thought he wasn't planning to get any of them.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, he's been in bed ever since his fourth booster. He's already a frail guy. He's a cancer survivor. He barely eats as it is. And I was so disappointed that he let them do that. I feel like it's pressure from the doctors. Like another friend of mine, like her doctor just walked out of the room when she said she wasn't taking it, and like just whooshed away, like, well, done with you. And it's like, well, I wonder how much stock he holds in whatever
Yeah,
pharmaceutical
but the stock
company.
markets aren't doing so hot these days.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, is it time to buy or just hold out, because you don't know how long it's gonna be for it to have that upswing, and should you, invest into stocks is another question, but yeah, because stocks has been around for a while too.
Yeah, it's that cycle of the drug comes out, and then 2 years later, the class action suit comes out.
Mhm.
We can track all kinds of popular drugs over the last years, and it's all you see on TV is either the ad for the drug,
And then in the
ad
small
for the
print.
class action. Yeah, You may die. If you die, don't you love
It might be too late.
the class action suit about if you experience blah 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 or death, call. It's like, right. I'll bring you up from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this craziness, and I guess I have to give it that astrological signature of Neptune, which is illusion and fantasy and the holograms and all that kind of stuff. Uranus, which is just jerky and craziness and unexpectedness. And then Pluto is total destruction.
And Pluto's retrograde right now.
Today, it
Is it
begins like
retrograding in
months.
Capricorn?
Yes.
So what does that mean for me? Is that bad? Bad news bears.
You might go over something like just like bringing out those documents for that lady on your trademark.
Oh,
It
you
might
had
be
to
going back over.
bring her up again. Like,
Oh, might be one of your battles.
she was like, check the dates. I was like,
I think trademark trumps blog.
I would think so. Like if I put money into a situation, let's say that I trademarked my name and let's say 2000, right? But somebody was talking about it, previous. But if I have it trademarked in 2000, that would hold precedence. I don't care if
Right.
you did it back in,
Right.
like 300 BC. Like no, it's trademarked.
I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing about social media is that people take what they see on Facebook for truth or blogs or I mean that's
No,
become
she's like,
like
"Well, this was the
information.
first time I heard from this," and she acted like she was, like, the trademark queen, and I'm like, "What the fuck, girl?" I was like, "Oh, really? So
This is
you
one of
trying to
your
give me the
battles.
smackdown this morning?" Honey, I was lit, I was livid, I was like, "No, honey," I was trying to be polite, with her, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see, I could read people's faces, and she's a total bitch, and I just gonna have to say it, and she not only that, she's a military wife, so there you go, her, like, ego is up her asshole, like, it being about, "Oh, I'm a military wife, and I have a blog, and I'm a super mom, and blah, blah, blah," and then now she wants to tell me, and I really feel like that goes along with being a badass in the military, being a military wife, and so she feels like, she has knowledge and
Evidence or
stuff.
something. Yeah.
Bitch, get out of here. I'm sorry. I should be nice. I shouldn't say the B word. Beep. Sorry, Scorpio moon isn't. Mm.
You've got
Who's
this moon and eclipse is opposite your moon. So Taurus, Scorpio is an opposition. So that means you'll be fired up to do things.
I was fired up.
Yeah.
I told my attorney, I said, I don't like confrontation. I just want to be,
So
you
soft,
know,
you know.
I just want to tell her, hey, just all she had to do was to just change her name. She's like, "Well, I did Foxy Coffee." I was like, "I don't care about the coffee. I care about the tea. Like,
Right.
you can't use Foxy Tea. That's my name." Like, and she's like, "Well, as you can see, like, I did this." "Well, honey, did you go and trademark your stuff? Did you, put a
You got
TM on your thing?"
when you did yours, they would have had to have searched for if that name was used or not.
Exactly.
So, that's
They wouldn't
that's
have grant me the trademark.
right. Well, there's a process for getting it, and you're right. You
But the
pay
thing is that my attorney was like, "Well, if you wanna hire me, it's gonna cost this and this." I'm like, "Oh, shit, man." I just hope that my attorney would just give her a little scare with a letter or something.
yeah. Well, he shouldn't charge $50 for a letter.
I mean, I hope, he calls himself rich. His name is Richard.
Now, don't you have the paperwork from the Library of Congress that created that trademark.
I'm pretty sure she looked up, the trademark search and saw me, and that's why she told me specifically, "As you can see, you created yours in May of 2017," you know, and my blog was back in 2016,
Well, how
but
does
my
that matter?
well, see, I don't I can't say that because I'm not an attorney, and I
But when they
what
did the
I
search
think,
for
I'm
that
not sure.
name,
I have to back it up with what my attorney knows legally, I
yeah,
can't say it.
it
So
might be
anyways,
worth paying him to do a letter.
I would, just as long as you don't charge me $1,000 for a freaking letter.
Right.
I mean, I don't mind paying a little something his way, just to
It shouldn't be that much.
I hope not. He's in Miami.
She's some kind of
She's a cunt.
un- we are Scorpio moon tonight.
Like, yeah, actually.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that is a very eclipse term.
Sorry. No,
Yeah,
I'm
good though, didn't it? Yeah.
I'm not like that.
Okay. Oh, I love that. I love that. I bake cupcake.
She what? She baked
I
cookies.
don't really know what it means, but it sounds good.
I said, "I make, body butters."
Which
It's
is
like a
very
cupcake.
Taurian. That's a very Taurian thing. I would think you would have really big sales during this lunation.
I've had so many positive responses. It makes me so
Yeah.
fuzzy inside because 'cause I've really
Yes.
worked hard on it, and,
Oh, that's a good idea.
what's that?
Um, Veracana. Contact the Legal Aid Society in your area.
And they may do it real cheap. Imma wait for my attorney. It's Friday. I didn't expect him to respond. I did send it to him early, but, I'm not making any kind of assumptions like he's gonna just respond to me on his Friday off. I don't know what his schedule's like, so
I know where I work, everybody leaves early on Fridays, especially if the
mhm.
sun's out. It's nice. It's the first place I've ever worked that, it's like Friday afternoon. It's decompress. I like that.
Oh, yeah, like I said, I think we should work 4 days, the Europeans actually have it right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, I don't know, is there anything else you'd like to add, for today's topic?
Just the ability to transform and keep a positive perspective on things and a sense of humor and don't let the dogs get you down. Write
No, I'm
those letters.
Scorpio.
Write those letters to your representatives.
Maybe, you should, write that on your blog, to really, vocalize opinions, but I don't know if that's too much
I maybe
mixture.
I'll upload it without the who's it going to and everything, but just like the general body. I'm going to look up like the code section and because it's illegal. They can't do that.
Mhm.
But people are just like,
Blind.
I just there's nothing okay about that. And I hear
Well,
people say,
that's why there if you remember, they were pumping, all of this on social media, and media, as you know, was very controlled, and all you saw was advertisements and things, popping up from certain, um
I think my blood pressure spikes when I hear an ad on the radio for the local drugstore saying, come get your vaccine. I'm like,
They're
you.
not so for in my corner, they're not pushing it as much. You do kinda see, like, the streamers, on built those little,
They're running
letter
radio ads
things.
around here.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
absurd.
well, I mean, I live in a what kinda state, and it's I don't know. There's still a lot of people that wear masks, you know, but
That's another thing that just it drives me nuts. And I have seen people outside on a lovely sunny day with their nose and mouth covered, do they know how dangerous that is for them and how bad that is for them? And oh my
Oh,
God,
it's I don't know. I just hope that this summer, guys, okay, try to make the best out of it because we're still kind of in this little, I want to say, mucky energy. There was a visualization that I was channeling in a particular reading, and it was like being stuck in a mud.
ah,
And like you're going toward your destination, but you're going slowly. And I really feel like that's still kind of the energy that we're in. Like, we're still kind of caught up in this thick
it's the
mud.
lotus flower, right? The lotus flower grows in mud, and that is all
Mhm.
about, a Neptune seeing through the murky water. It's about
Oh, yeah,
spirit.
there you go. Yeah.
It's about
With Persephone and
Demeter
Sirius.
and
Dem-
Hades. Oh,
oh,
Cirrus.
Demeter.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
all good archetypes. In fact, irises will grow in mud.
Oh, do they?
Hmm. So
Well,
it,
you had three inches of rain or something.
they it's all of this. Every message, any way you want to look at it, is um, spiritual awakening, deepening your spirituality, um, bucking up your faith. You may be tested to have faith, like, if somebody, loses a job or something, it's about having the faith that a better job is right there for you, not
Hmm.
letting the knocks knock your vibration down, but make it like that thing I saw on the website about tickets. It's like that fired me up. I'm getting some letters out, whereas I've been just as guilty as everybody, just passively going, "Oh, it'll go away. Oh, it'll go
You
away."
know what I say? I said, "F the ticket. I ain't going."
No,
They could just one less person that go to their event, and
I don't.
uh
I don't want to see anything thrive with that kind of ridiculous tyranny. It's tyranny.
mhm.
It's unconstitutional. I mean,
There's a lot of systems that are really breaking down, but they're trying to salvage, so
yeah,
to speak.
like that last,
Like, "Come on, guys, we can do it. Just break down that boulder," that
construction. Yeah.
mhm. It'll be alright. So, well, I hope everyone enjoyed today's, talk,
Yeah.
and, thank you, Sunny, for being here, with us again today,
Always
and yes, and if you guys would like to get your natal chart done, go ahead and visit her at let's see here, where's my banner?
lionmountainhealing.com.
There you go.
Thank you. Would love.
Yes. I think I gave you a shout out. I think it was in the Sag reading this week
Oh,
because, yeah,
you.
I was really seeing that there was nothing more that Sag could do. It's like one of those instances where, it's like, well, what do you do about the situation? What is the guidance? And when I did that particular channeling, I really felt like instead of a tarot reading, like it's time to get a natal chart done because there's certain things astrologically and everyone's situation is different that the natal chart will actually point out.
It's just
um,
more insight, just more
yeah,
information.
just more information.
Mhm.
It's like, what next? And I really felt that for my Sag. And when we saw this Sag, when we did a Sag reading earlier, it was kind of very similar in nature. It's like, you don't really have a clear answer, but if you just like plug in the numbers,
Right.
map out, what's going on, you'll get a little bit more. And so, if you guys want a little bit more, I highly recommend Sunny. She's done numerous charts for me, and I appreciate her very, very much. She puts
Well,
some
thank you.
sense into my, I guess, whatever I see, and it kind of validates, what I've been seeing. And so, thank you so much, for being a part of my journey.
I
Um,
owe you some charts right now, and I I
Oh,
do.
yeah, well, I mean, you could take your time, I mean
I don't know where the time gets away, but
I said the same thing, I think I said it to you when you actually posted or gave me the Taurus, verbiage. Oh, by the way, someone had commented on my community feed that you should be writing a book or an article. I forgot what her exact words were, but when you go look on my community feed,
okay.
on your post, someone had made a comment that you should be writing or you should be a writer.
Well, interesting. Thank you. I have 4 different manuscripts over the last 20 years that
Oh, okay.
need to be submitted, and it's like I got real close one time and that fell through, and I just it is my goal. Thank you. That's a nice notice to me to bear down. And when I'm writing these letters to my representatives, maybe I'll try to get at least one of those manuscripts ready to submit. I, all of this stuff about self-publishing came up in the last few years, and I've read all this different pros and cons about that. And so it stunts me. When I get overwhelmed with information, then I get paralyzed.
Mhm. I get it. Sometimes you have to take a break and get back to it if it's possible,
And
like,
it's really all I want to do. I want to win the lottery so I can concentrate on my writing. So you're right on.
okay. Well, it wasn't me, honey, it was somebody, that read your article, and she's like, "You should write," and I was like, "Okay, I'll send her a
I
message."
have all of this information about the astrology of herbs and what part of
Oh, I would love
the
that.
body and what emotions create what symptoms and the natural healing. And yeah,
Well, if you need an illustrator and
yes, that was
someone
another
who
part of
could do
my
typesetting for your book, I'm the
yes.
person.
Oh, you are? That
Yeah.
was another roadblock of mine years ago was when I once set out to find an illustrator, they wanted $10,000. And I was like, well, I don't have
Well,
any
just
money.
give me a percentage. Let's
Yeah,
work out a deal. Like,
okay. We'll work out a deal.
just do my natal charts for life.
Oh,
Like,
you got that. No problem. But isn't that interesting? And I feel really blessed in this moment with this lunation that you all would bring that to me because you have really bullseyed my heart. I've always been a writer. I've always wanted to write. I've published really little things like 30
mhm.
years ago, and then my life diverted into caregiving for family. So hopefully I'm getting back to that path of doing what I really want to do. So
I
thank
think, yeah,
my website is kind of that discipline that makes me at least because that's the whole thing about writing is you have to do it regularly.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Well, get to it, honey.
getting
It's
to it.
that new moon energy.
Yes, thank you for the reminder notice. I feel blessed to know all of you, and anything I can do for you, just reach out to me and we'll get it together.
Well, thank you again, Sunny, for being a special guest here with me on my channel, and,
I'm just glad
um
you had internet.
yeah, it didn't go down.
Yeah,
I'm so blessed, because my world revolves around the internet. I've been a coder, I've been in media, I've been in communications for half, I want to say, well, a good portion of my life, more than half. And so I'm very comfortable with this sort of thing. And so, like, when it comes to like what you need assistance with, I'm your other half, honey.
that's excellent. I did not know this.
Yes, and whatever, like, your, astrological, like, insight is what I
Yes.
lack.
Well, we're all in this together, and remember that. No, none of us are
Yes.
alone with our grief or sadness or the down times, and we just have to help each other to try to stay positive and upbeat.
I wanna interject and say one last thing. I really find that it's very interesting that I'm here on the West Coast and you're on the East Coast, and we're bridging some sort of connection from the east to the west, kind of
I
similar to the time you said 1886 with the train with the oranges and stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
but technologically.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I'm challenged by technology, but I don't knock it. It's just I get frustrated because I don't know it all that well.
But you're doing well, so don't be so hard. I mean, you're doing a lot better than most. So
Well, you
yeah.
certainly have brought me a long way. I have a website.
And there's gonna be more to come because then you're gonna be
Yes. I have
posting your Kindle and
yes, our book tour, and we'll have to make it back to Greece.
yes, yes. I can't wait. I would love to once things settle down, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, guys. So thank you all for being here with us today, and thank you again, Sunny, for spending time with us and sharing your knowledge and expertise. And again, if you guys want to have a natal chart done, I could not stress this enough. Go ahead and check her out at lionmountainhealing.com. And thank you all for watching and
And enjoy
happy,
your weekend.
yeah, happy new moon.
Yes, yes. And
All
so
right.
partial solar eclipse.
Yes, it's raining over here, so I'm gonna take me a nice salty bath.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I am.
All right. I'll talk to you
Alright.
soon. And I do
Uh,
appreciate everyone in this time.
yes, thank you. Alright, bye, guys.
Bye.